Welcome back to day 3 of Game Changers Championship 2024. And if you're just tuning in, hey, Zeta Division gets their first win on an international stage. Can we just celebrate that just for a few seconds?
We have to. And the interview that we just had, that was
Serena was so precious.
They were celebrating. Like, of course, we are sad to have to say goodbye to a team, especially under the circumstances that they were on today. But the way that the momentum shifted into Zeta's favor, and as Jinsu said, how can you not love this team?
Yeah, it really is remarkable. Even just that storyline, and it was Jinsu that caught it down there on the stage, that Serena sat on that stage, that she grinded out the aim training, and then wow, the second map, the difference from first to second, the fact that it was the best sunset she's ever played as well. It really is just an example that hard work pays off, and I couldn't be happier for Zeta. This is a much deserved and long-awaited victory.
Oh yes,
it happens tomorrow.
Definitely, definitely. And I think we can expect more comebacks too, because we are going to get into our second elimination match of the day, right? But before anything else, GCC is the perfect time to join the community and say goodbye to the days of solo queue. All you need to do is scan the QR code on the screen to join the LFG Discord and find your future squad mates. Hey, if you want to get in on a few groups, build a great community, check out the Galorant server, which is exclusively for women and non-binary players. This is our space, and this is a safe space as well for you to find your squad. So get in on that. And before the tournament, actually, we got to talk to a lot of players too. And I think two of the most interesting players that we had, because they have such a long relationship together, was Smurfette and Ness. And I'm really excited to see this one because we got to test them on their knowledge on each other too. So let's check out this quick video on that.
I am delighted to be joined by Ness and Smurfette from JinNy. Now, you guys are one of the longest standing duos we have in all of Valorant, but I wanted to test how good friends you guys really are. How well do you really know each other? You guys think you can pass this test?
I don't think so.
That's the spirit. We're going to start with a very easy question then. So I want you to write the answers on your whiteboard and show the camera once you're done. And you're going to know this, so this is more of a test for you, Ness.
Okay.
What was the name of Smurfette's first team in Valorant? I hope you know this. Yeah.
Smurfs?
Yeah, Smurf's first team.
I think I know.
Yeah, write it down. If you think you know, write it down. Okay, I'm gonna let you show it to the camera because this is gonna be the answer. It is indeed Project X. Now, did you write down Project X?
Oh, nice.
Easy, you know each other. You know each other.
Because I was beating her.
Yeah. Do you want to? What was the next team that Smurf was on? Do you want to name it?
No.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna have to make this a bit more difficult. Next question is: how many officials have you two played together as a duo?
I'm just gonna like.
Yeah, give a guess. Give a guess. I'll give it to like.
No, that might be too much.
Give it to
Is it like matches?
like not maps, like actual, series.
Oh.
Together in an official. Because you just wrote down 700. I'm gonna tell you it was not. Yeah, take a guess. Official matches.
I don't know. I'm just gonna write something random.
Okay, I'll show it to the camera together at the same time. So we have 150 and 70. You're closer. The 70 is closer. It's actually 89. So your next game, your game against MIBR will be your 90th official together.
Oh,
we're getting to 100.
Damn.
We're getting closer.
Okay.
Now here we go. See how well you know Ness. What is Ness's Twitter name? Like her Twitter handle. I hope you know this.
Wait.
I don't even know. How would she know?
I don't remember the.
Try your best. Okay. There's a lot of. Smurf is cooking over here. Okay, I'm gonna let you.
I think I just.
You nearly had
Okay.
it out.
Okay. I just thought. Okay. Let's put it like this. Okay.
Yes.
You also had it the first time, and you erased it the first time around. It was kind of correct.
Okay.
All right.
I'm winning, yeah?
This next one is a very important one. I think this is going to be the one to really test your friendship. How many cats does Smurf have, and what are their names?
Oh, that's.
Oh, Ness is straight in there.
Oh, she knows.
She knows? Okay, I feel like this is the one. This is the one. Okay, wow. Okay, can you confirm? Is this correct?
Yeah.
Whoa! Okay. Can
was
you name
so
my
easy.
cats?
Karma.
And wait,
I don't know the other one.
you got one more. Yeah, I have a new cat. It's okay.
Okay.
Boaster named him. We don't, it was
Maybe
not the
Boaster.
best name. Yeah, Mob.
Wait, I didn't know that. Okay.
But you guys know Karma. I love
Yeah,
it.
of course.
The last question. I'm gonna start with you, Ness, first. If you were not a Valorant pro player, what would you be? What would you be doing? So I want you to guess what Ness is gonna
I
write.
don't know. I have too many things.
You can write maybe two. I'll let you write like
But
two.
you told
two
me
things.
before.
Oh, she's told you this.
Wait, when did I tell you?
Maybe Smurf knows you better than you know yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
You always told me about this.
Okay, I'm gonna let you show the camera first then.
Or
Okay, well let's see what you wrote.
No, but
went with-
you said if I have good voice, you would be singing.
oh, but I don't have it.
Yeah, but still.
But I don't have it. That's not
You always have
us.
it.
That's not us.
That's true, but believe in yourself, you never know. And that's it. It turns out you guys know each other pretty well. So let's do this again next year and see if you get to know each other a bit better. How do we feel about that?
Well, I hope we do better next year.
I think we did pretty good.
All right, we will see that. We'll see that for next time.
That is adorable, and you can just see how these girls know each other so well. But I think a partnership like that is what really makes Giant X such a powerful team to, be up against, because you have that partnership between Smurfette and Ness, but it's not just them. It's this whole team sharing that kind of friendship.
Yeah, and I feel like they've been through the ups, through the downs, and a lot, and especially the match that they had the other day. Definitely, it was a test, but again, even if we can make excuses for them, we need to see something different. We need to see the Giant X that again has been through the ups and the downs, and we need to see the Smurfette that we know we need her back.
Yeah, oh no, 100%. I mean, when you look within EMEA, where these girls will be playing for most of the year, ResQ gets a lot of respect, a lot of praise, and this squad flew over to Turkey to take on G2. It was not pretty in the sense that it was 3-1. They did take a map, but what was definitive was that Smurfette was diffing ResQ. When they came head-to-head, when those battles went down, it was Smurfette that was coming out ahead more often than not. Only problem was ResQ could find the rest of her teammates.
Yeah, that was such an exciting head-to-head, by the way. That was definitely a matchup to look out for. So I am wondering, right, because that Smurfette didn't exactly come out in their first match, right? Are we going to see that today is a big question, but I do want to give a shout out to Miori as well, who is able to step up on the Cypher role.
Yeah, especially on that first map when Pearl started, right, coming up into this map, a lot of questions, maybe not a lot of time to prac, and I feel like Miori had a very difficult task ahead because right off the bat, right off the pistol round, we saw how MIBR was working around the map, how their pace was extremely fast, and she was, the one having to stop them and having to be careful and having to actually have her utility have a lot of impact, and she was doing it time and time again. Again, it didn't end up being pretty. They didn't end up losing that 0-2, but there was some glimmers of what can happen. I also think that MIBR had what a game. Like Jelly,
Oh, yeah.
That was disgusting.
I mean, definitely on Sunset. Look at that first map again, though, and you see the GX lost both pistols. You go down 4-0, and it's, 13-10 in the end? Damn close game. So definitely, this was somewhere that could have at least went to 3 maps, and sure, the second map wasn't quite as dominant, but how many times have we seen that where a team gets smashed on a map, comes back, and they actually play a really good game on the third?
Well, we don't need to see just Miori step up this time around, right? We need everybody to step up. But speaking of Miori, Yinsu caught up with her ahead of today's match. Let's see what she has to say.
I'm now standing by with Miori here from Giant X. Now, you guys love to be in the lower bracket, that lower bracket run. So what have you learned from the previous times you've been there to make sure you can make it all the way to the grand finals again this time?
We are a lower bracket because we wanna beat every team. That's why.
Okay, I love that answer. Thank you very much for joining me. I can't wait to see it.
Well, that is a definitive promise. You gotta love that confidence. Well, we're just gonna beat every single team. Can they beat ALG, though, which will be their opponents for this matchup? ALG also kind of had the same story. They had a really rough opening match against Falcons Vega, right? For today's match, though, they are making a change. There is yet another emergency substitute coming in. XiMiLu will be subbing in for 1HP, who unfortunately 1HP is not feeling well. How is this going to affect them?
I mean, probably massively, because we've heard in the past that it's 1HP who is translating in most of these scenarios to keep up, all of the communication. At the end of the day, there is, in the base game, there's only so much that you need to say. It's more on the deeper plan and on the macro understanding of everything that we're going to be able to see the difference. But XiMiLu is not someone that is completely unbeknownst to what is going to happen today.
Yeah, and I think just to build on that, the fact that you have one player who's IGLing, speaking a language that only one other player understands, you're going to have to go to that baseline of, and we were speaking about it behind the scenes, that Miki, you said sometimes they're speaking in English, and again, there can be miscommunication issues, there can be a lag, if you're in your mother tongue, it's going to be much quicker to get that info out there. And now add to that the sub is coming in. Someone's going to have to take that role. We'll go to a mid-ground language. We're going to have to figure out all the flow of the game with all of those restrictions. This is a really tough game for ALG, and they don't have a baseline to build on for most maps because they only played 3 maps before this event. So it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow.
They're a very, very young roster.
Yeah.
And, that's basically an understatement because of all the rosters that we have here at GCC, I think they basically only played just the last few months together, right? It's a massive adjustment. So it's going to be a tall order for this team, this roster. And on the side, of course, of Giant X, they need that revenge arc coming up for them, right? They need to make that lower bracket run, and as Miori said, to be able to win everything. And that was a big promise indeed. So we're going to see if that comes through. But we are going to send it down to the stage and bring out our teams. We're going to see Giant X and ALG. Who do you guys got? We're going to find out who takes it. All right, folks, it appears as though we're experiencing a very, very short delay, but that gives us a bit more time to talk about. I thought they ran out really quickly.
You didn't see it.
You didn't see it, but it was like they were super fast.
I must have blinked for a really long time. The copium's catching up to me, but okay, that makes sense.
I love how you was like, I didn't realize that. Thanks for informing me, Mika. No, but talking about these teams, right? It's we've been seeing a lot of last-minute changes here for these teams, and for ALG, it's a big question mark on them because they're already a roster that's dealing with a lot of obstacles here.
Yes.
Very inexperienced together as a team, right? But you do have, for example, JinNy and Muffyn that have been here before, and you even have, XiMiLu. She has competed with EDG as well in the previous years.
But again, thinking about what they said in the press conference after the game, they were surprised of the level that the other teams were bringing onto the stage. Yes, we talk about the inexperience and maybe not having those many reps or maybe those many maps that we have seen in officials, and they were genuinely surprised and struggling a lot. Even their coach was saying it, like the level was way above what he was expecting to see.
Yeah, I like that you brought that up because especially since, ALG, they are dealing with a lot of things that might be unfamiliar to them, especially since they haven't played a lot of games together and they're dealing with so many different teams that have so many different strats. Like, for example, Mitch, they did have a lot of trouble dealing with a deadlock on split.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of trouble indeed. They won a pistol round in the second half. They won the follow-up round. They got 2 rounds that map. It was no rounds on the attack side, 12 in a row for their opponents. And look, it's a tough comp to play against. It's a map that they hadn't played up until then. That is the only map of split that they've got on record. And that's obviously going to cause a lot of issues. I think when you come into a tournament with less than 15 maps played, and that's across less than half of the maps that are available to your opponents to pick, well, we'll say they've been kind of lucky with the way map vetoes have gone so far. Teams have been kind of happy to play into their hand a little bit. Lucky they've only had the split to deal with.
Yeah, of course, like the first map, like your first pick, is going to be there. But the chances of you go into a map that you haven't played yet, are exponentially high. You know, of course, and I think that especially that composition and the way that it ran, not only having the deadlock, but having the Euro, to me, it's not only the fact that the composition is a bit wacky, or it's that, you know, it was the first time that we saw that composition, or that the map is new for them, because at the end of the day, it is split, okay? It's not, we're not reinventing the wheel here, but it is the fact that they were going up against the same issue round after round on B Heaven, and they were not finding a solution for it. And having given Falcons in that instance a flawless half, it also has some mental baggage, and you have like, I've tried, and I think that I've tried everything that I could, and I wasn't able to get through this chokehold.
No, yeah, they had a lot of trouble adjusting, right? Especially to Madvi's deadlock, which was like incredible, by the way. They kept running into her setup, like you mentioned, Bea, on B Heaven, right? And we're seeing that right now.
And of course, the utility is going to be there, and Madvi did an amazing job in having always the same sensor and using the GravNet to slow them down. And we could see ALG, again, this, even though if it's just an example, happened time and time again. The refracts, the escalating utility, adapting also the barrier mesh at the beginning of the round, using it differently. Madvi did give an amazing show of what you can do with the deadlock here. And if also you add up onto that Mary's there with the Euro, very quick rotation, she can always be there to support her, we can understand that a team like ALG is going to struggle against these things. Because regionally, as we're saying, 3 maps, but also the agents that they play, they don't go up against the ISOs, against the deadlocks, you know, they're obviously going to be seen here.
Yeah, they don't get that kind of competition a lot, right? But I want to, you know, I want to talk about GIANT X just a little bit more too, because, for example, you know, we did have, unfortunately, a lackluster, you know, performance from them last time, right? What are you expecting from them this time around? And what do you expect for all of these players? What is that next step for them?
Well, looking back at the regular season, this isn't a team that we expect to consistently underperform. They always get back on their feet. You take a loss and you learn from it. I think that's exactly what we'll see here today. GX, we talk about the level that ALG have been up against. Well, I think it's only going to go up. Now you've got someone like Smurfette out to get you, and the rest of the roster feeling activated. One of the biggest challenges, probably the biggest challenge that they faced so far, is right in front of them.
I have to say also that there was also a recurrent theme that we saw throughout EMEA, and is that GIANT X, if you take it pound for pound, like the players are great, we've seen them for a very long time. The throw-in advantages time and time again. The other day we saw it in Sunset. They weren't able to convert most of the 5v4s. Like the numbers, I think that they converted 2 out of 7. And when you're not even able to transfer the rounds where you had a plan, it worked. You got on that first pick, but the response from the team is already faster. It puts you in a very difficult situation, and that has to be one of the main turning points today.
Yeah, those are one of the things that we will be looking for on the side of GIANT X, right? There's a lot to look for both of these teams, actually. Unfortunately, now we can send it to the stage, and we can look forward to these teams making that comeback, doing that revenge arc for themselves as well. You mentioned it too, Mitch, that, you know, the biggest opponent is right in front of them for GIANT X, but that's also the case for ALG, especially since...
Another upset?
Hey!
Senta did it. I don't see why ALG can't.
We had it just a while ago. Why not? We're going to send it to the stage and bring out, once again, our teams, GIANT X and ALG. final match of the day, and another team will be going home. Will it be Giant X, or will the home crowd cheers carry them through? Or for the sole representatives from VCTC, and will the ambition of ALG pull through this time around? Big questions on the line, big stakes for both teams. It's the turning point for both of them. As we go into our map beating, Vito, we're seeing Haven, we're seeing Ascent, and potentially Pearl.
I mean, it's definitely going to be new maps for the side of ALG. That Ascent is going to be definitely very interesting because I have the same feeling with Split. It's not like it's a new map or that it's been gone for a very long time. Ascent has always been there for some reason, but I want to see what this Haven is going to bring because Giant X is one of the two teams in this competition that run the double controller on this map, or that we could expect them to.
Considering the fact that we end up with Ascent and Pearl afterwards, and those are maps that ALG have not played so far, this is definitely going to need to be a map victory off the bat for ALG. Also, GX have lost 13-7, 13-8 to G2 and Falcons respectively. Those are big teams. I don't know if ALG will be able to match up. Then you add to that the IGL having to communicate in English, where you've got 1 HP out of the roster for now, unwell. These are big issues for ALG to combat today.
As we step into our Agent Select, as we can see, we are seeing Smurfette on that Yoru, and I'm very excited to see this, especially since she has been very vocal about how much she loves Yoru. And I believe there was an interview where Smurfette said specifically she does it to annoy Cyphers. So suddenly, it's throwing it back to ALG and looking at Laiyin over there, who is on that Cypher.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we want to see the performance from XiMiLu, right? To see how it's going to go overall. This composition from Giant X started off, we tested it against G2 goes in that one time. We know that we can excel with it. So, of course, we're looking at that combo between Ness and Smurfette that we were seeing on the screen to also be present in the server.
No matter what, I think GX are taking this series. The question is 2-0 or 2-1. And ALG, well, they get to answer that in the first map. Haven has to be theirs to take home if they have any chance of winning this series.
And we know that these players are capable of, just wiping the slate clean and starting as if this is the first match that they're going to play, especially since you have JinNy, you have Muffyn here, who have been on this stage before. Back in Pacific, they know they are such menaces to everybody. Now that they are here representing, the Chinese region, they are part of that firepower that really makes ALG special, but it's Giant X once again. It's that home crowd. I kind of feel like, as they were walking out, they're definitely thinking that okay, we're coming in very, very confident and very calm too.
And they're no strangers to having a lower bracket run, but of course it has to start. They need to get a good feeling of this stage if they want to progress, if they want to keep fighting, because Matvi and Mary were the two biggest menaces and were upsetting ALG constantly. Now I feel like we're looking at Smurfette a lot.
Well, we're definitely going to look at her and the rest of these players on stage. We're going to send it over to your casters. And these two, by the way, live for tech pauses. Here's Pansy and Potter.
How's she done that? That's crazy. You start with that after the delay already. Fingers crossed that gets it all out of the way so we can focus on this fantastic matchup. Potter, looking at these two, they're having to come back in off of the back of some pretty harsh losses, refocus, get back into things, looking at the Vito as well, some familiar scenes. That's got to be hard to shake off right now, coming into this very high value game.
Absolutely, and I think the key word, you said it, Lauren, is refocus. Both squads got to come in and have a nice reset. We are on elimination day. I'm looking straight at Muffyn. This player has had a spectacular performance online thus far. We've gotten the jitters out of the way. It's second day, and they are on the attack side. Good shock darts to try to find some of that KJ utility early.
Ooh, I like this little stun potentially off of the contact, but Smurfette's really managed to filter through. Muffyn, though, you said the name, and she's already getting a name up in lights. On the board, good start here. You want to see them be confident on the beginning, because they had a really hard beginning game. So already that C site is under their banner. One towards the backside, though, could be an issue, but the flash is fantastic again. Excellent work between JinNy and Muffyn to really secure this side of the map, but not without loss. 3v2 is not impossible. I'm keeping my eyes towards Miori. How much space can she get through Garage here? Is anyone really could be the first one forward? Waiting on that smoke to come back through. A couple of steps in. Could get the timing right. And now does get to slip ahead. Stunner! Couldn't follow up though, and ALG Big start there.
Big start, decisive as well. The way that Muffyn was just following through that garage control with that dart. And I gotta say that the Viper wall definitely made me a little nervous as they got into that C site, but that pause, the composure on the hit to wait for JinNy's flash to just clear that whole back site. So right away, ALG, beautiful start on this pistol, and you gotta love it when the team is all together like that, just completely defending the post plant.
And it makes me worry a little less after a really, probably quite devastating loss in that first series, right? You're not feeling warm, coming in with a nice start for themselves here. It's going to keep that confidence building up. For Giant X on the other side, though, I'm seeing at least a Sheriff out, but that's about it.
Yeah, and they've changed their wall immediately now, going for a little bit more of a deeper wall, want to get that long line. Information is the name of the game for Giants specifically, lacking that Cypher util, lacking even the Sova to give that mid-round info. So they want to make the attackers feel like at any point they might just scrim past that line and apply that sort of pressure. So, nice
60. He tries to play off the smoke, but overwhelmed. It was a gamble stack from Giant X, kind of playing behind that wall, and maybe that wall alone was enough that ALG went, I don't like what I'm seeing there, let's go for this A piece instead.
Yeah, you saw Mayuri's turret there deep as well. I wish she would have waited for that turret to go up to peak, but you're right. With just a classic, it was already a very tall task, and clean up the eeks here. Get those eeks.
Absolute eco cobras. Let's see. Now, again, for Muffyn, really great work towards the ult very early on, but down on 20 HP, don't want to see them going too far towards gathering the kills, but in the end of the day, Muffyn does get another, so 2 away from the ult. This early on is lovely to have in that back pocket, maybe for that first gun round, I mean, potentially even towards the bonus.
Yeah, huge luxury for sure. Definitely just changes up the pace.
There they are.
In a clean round, it definitely is. It feels bad when the defenders just walk away with only damage, but gotta carry away with whatever copium you can.
Let's go.
And they want to look to jiggle front B, and if they don't get spotted, I think ALG want to fully commit here on this bonus for this front B.
Shot done.
Clear and util nice and early. I like this. And you can see the setup that Yori's going for, so none of it truly affected, just...
Yeah, ALG got caught on something. A communication came through. They didn't like what they saw. Maybe that deep smoke slowed them down a little bit, but fault line still in the back pocket of JinNy. There's going to be a lot of utility coming through here off the back of the information on this drone.
Yeah, waiting for the timing for this to go. ALG really patient, creeping a bit close towards middle. Could deal with that alarm bot.
Here.
And then see the reset off the back. Could now see that flex through towards garage. Wall goes up. And it looks like that owl drone is going to be the go up. About 55 seconds now. Wall down.
This pace is really nice from ALG. That front B sniff a little bit.
Oh, but Miori still gets a kill. I'm incredibly surprised. The smoke was in place. There was no support by Sarah, but still Miori gets one and gets away. This is now maybe stalling out ALG a little bit.
Yeah, that stall, the molly coming out from Sarah, that bait and switch, and look at Miori. She slipped back into this exact position.
Hey, no owl drone to clear gets trickier and trickier.
30 seconds left.
You know, what are you meant to do with this? They're going to have to look to maybe pivot towards this B site. Just going to run themselves in towards it. Ness is there. Falls away. Going to hit the flash, but no one there to work off the back of it. And already it's looking a little bit rough around the edges. ALG alive with just 2. This is going to be tough. Bonus round, though. Nice angle for JinNy. Only one. Leaving the new stand in, the step in to try and deliver. Can't achieve it to make it out of the bonus alive for Giant X and the round in their hands.
I really liked the way ALG approached this round. You know, usually we do see a lot faster pace on the bonuses, but they really tried to work the map and misdirect and keep GX guessing the whole way through it. Unfortunately for ALG, I mean, GX, Miori, that reposition back into that garage gave them the information that they have to defend that front B, so good reactions from the defenders. And ALG, for the first time this half, it looks like they're putting their eggs into the A main basket. They want to see what's going on towards this side of the map, see what kind of utility they're going to be dealing with.
Stun here. Coming in from Ness. Smurfette gonna have to deal with a little bit of utility her way. Does she get out of danger? Should be fine. It is Yoru, and away we go. Too much pressure, but it does play in Juliana. That's lovely. Little 1-2 punch, all eyes focused towards long, and the push up through sewer works really well.
Yeah, no trade in sight. That is gonna be devastating for ALG. Huge initiator utility off the table now. And with JinNy's fault line off, they've just got to pause. They've got to hope for some sort of pick. Hopefully Laiyin can draw some sort of attention towards this front B, but look at all the information Mayuri has as well. The defenders in GX, they feel in full control so far.
And I love seeing what kind of Ness is doing and Sarah's doing, that kind of back and forth check towards B, kind of maybe expecting someone's going to be trying to find that next step forward. And again, it is this pause that maybe causes a little bit of doubt, maybe an over-rotation. But again, if you look where Miori is, sound cues alone would give away so much, and Julia is just holding this down so comfortable. One by one, they're coming up, and it's very, very easy. Now, the slip through towards B could cause an issue. This is the one that could maybe open up a chance. Suddenly, you're looking where the spike is. That's already made its way back around towards B. This late B hit, 25 seconds, a decent opportunity here.
Yeah, and Yusin still has blind as well, with most bodies all in this small choke point at A-Link. Based off of what Laiyin sees here on this retake, you can expect to see Yusin quickly respond and react.
Time out.
Heading on over. Timing is everything. Two still dedicated towards side one, sitting a little bit deeper towards Cubby. ALG going to try and hold this against the odds, against the numbers here. Playing the first contact spot, beautiful, nice synergy together. Again, the utility is on point, but now the numbers more even, but JinNy isolates the one pushing back in from that C side. Now towards the outside, a connector. The crossfire's held perfectly.
And they were at a disadvantage the whole time. We talked about XiMiLu, the ringer, coming in, getting just taken out. No trade in sight to be found. Giants handled that well perfectly, had full control, but the mid-rounding coming out from ALG, the fact that Laiyin didn't have any fear, but actually took the space off the pick and went backside B, really helped out this post plant coming through here for ALG.
And I'm looking at the snowball effect here. You're starting to see those ults really hit for ALG. We have 3 ready to go right now as well. You've got Cyphers there, you've got the knives coming out from up, and you even have the Hunter's Fury on the other side a little bit further off, and the money now in a bad predicament. For Giant X, they need a bit of stability here. It feels like they were taking the correct first steps, but that was a stark reminder that mid-rounding is so imperative. So, Sheriffs and a Marshal, do they try and do something a little bit cheeky?
Yeah, I'd like to see Smurfette going for a more forward duel, a forward pick. You know, the desk talked about it. Smurfette had a little bit of a slower start on day one on that Jet and Neon. With that Yoru, with the flashes in her back pocket, she can really get up close and personal with this Viper wall and make some cheeky plays. So you can see all the defenders making the right read. The adjustments are coming through.
Does get scary.
Cover going now.
Even with just the pistols, there's so many players and the right piece of utility played at the right time, but that wasn't it. And look at the information. Muffyn though, tunnel vision towards the player on the outline, and now Sarah and Ness with the punish. Miori! Suddenly there's a reminder of who they are. A MasterCard thrifty Giant X answer back.
Wow, and that was just based off information, right? And we talked about ALG having such good mid-rounding the round before. This round, unfortunately, they get caught picking the wrong site. GX already fully stacking towards there. And I wish I saw a little bit more utility coming out from ALG here to understand that, hey, we're going to have to over-util to get into the site here, but great shots coming out for GX. Those Sheriffs are so deadly, Lauren.
They always are. I mean, there's a reason we always kind of hold our breath every now and then we see it, especially when the site stacks in the right place. You're like, oh,
Camera taken out.
Especially with that Viper wall there, everything, feels almost heaven sent at that point. But time to maybe find an answer back for yourself here. Miori's the one who's going to be feeling the pressure. We do have the knives, I think, invested into as well for Muffyn. And we're seeing a lot of those ults coming in, but can they isolate the player? I don't know if Muffyn caught the glimpse. She certainly did, but it's a trade out. They lose out on Yusin, and now you're down to a 4v4, but they have site control. I lied! Sarah from God knows where just got impact coming out, and now you're down to the last 2. Any opportunities? I don't think so. That was a big investment of ults. You had the Hunter's Fury there and the knives. And only able to take down Miori. May not be enough, but
wait a minute.
Evacuating the site. Now, is there a rifle to be recovered, perhaps? And maybe a bit of security here. I don't think they'll even hear that. I mean, they definitely hear the outro. There's the ult, so they know that at least Laiyin is on that site. Rifle there now in hand.
This gives a lot of time for XiMiLu to get this post plant. And maybe Laiyin can reposition, but she feels like she has to protect.
Planted.
They weren't sure how much space there was, so that little bit of hesitation, which is fair, suddenly cost them a real chance. But again, for a late reposition towards Gary coverage here. Gonna need a freebie. Needs to be clean. Not clean enough. Sarah swift with it on the cross through, leaving XiMiLu in a really tough predicament. A 1v4. Very unlikely, and Smurfette quick. So, as it stands, they make it past the threat. They played cool, they played calm. Moved away from the site, played retake.
Yeah, and it comes down to that Viper Molly that was shocking. All of a sudden that Sarah came out. And that's the key thing about Vipers. It's not something we've seen very often this year on Haven.
Oh, it was on long, just, yeah.
And that's the danger, right? Is you've got those long-range Viper Mollies, and when you get spotted trying to make a rush happen, that Viper Molly lands. And so even though the Jet is in the site, they have no help.
Yeah.
No one else can get into the site. So one of the benefits, surely, of Viper coming through strong there for GX and ALG, they're going to have to tighten up their spacing here.
Spot on. Now, you're seeing the swings and roundabouts back in. The ults are firmly in place for GINX, and they are looking to maybe exploit that further. You just heard it. The Viper's Pit going down towards A, covering off sewers near on completely. And then the alarm bot to complement towards long. So this A site is very difficult to track towards.
ALG just pinged down deep into short A. I wonder if they are alerted that that is where the Viper ult is.
Right here.
Looks like they still want to commit. This is the weak side. This time they don't have your Cypher on the lurk at all.
This could be a nice ult here. Laiyin probably going to be tasked with dealing with Sarah at some point. Slow and steady, but they've found a gap in this, right? Dodging their way through the owl drone could be huge. Sarah, you got to pick your poison. And actually wins the fight. That looked fully blind to my eye, but maybe from her perspective, there's more to be seen. Lockdown to try and make sure they can clear through.
JinNy's got the ultimate to be able to delay in this post. So for ALG, they feel okay with getting off the site, but they're running out of time.
There's no time.
Wait.
That was a misplay. I don't know what the plan was, but it was an absolute misplay. And now the problems are mounting. You're down to one. JinNy has to face the music and face the firing squad. GINX with probably the freest round they've had in a moment.
Yeah, that was some sort of breakdown in communication for ALG for sure. I think maybe
I don't know if it was misutil
some sort of
or
curveball.
something.
Yeah, maybe JinNy wanted to ult into spawn instead of into the site, but they all stayed into the site there at Graffiti.
Yeah, what was the plan to deal with that lockdown? I truly don't know. Yeah.
That's, you know, for ALG's side, for these last 3 rounds, especially with how Pistol went and that first bonus went, this is a huge tide turn. ALG, they've got to stabilize here because they've looked fantastic in the first 4 rounds.
I'm quite a little surprised there wasn't maybe a timeout there to check in. 3 in a row starts to feel quite oppressive, but maybe feeling they're still in a good enough position. We're going to start seeing those ults being invested, however.
Again.
Yeah, Smurfette, though, popping the ult as well. Miori caught off guard, and ALG doing wonders here. Should be able to get a plant. Muffyn turns that easy. Light work for Muffyn. Smurfette sent back towards spawn. Juliana can't trade it, quickly gets out of danger. And this is so nice. I want to see more like this from ALG, clean in everything they do. Julina, Sarah, Ness, ults coming in. Now they got to try and capitalize on that ultimate, try and get towards the site. But really, ALG are opening no doors for them. Keeping that one tight as anything. No one's coming in.
Yeah, and I guess the coach heard the call, liked the call, approved of the call, and it works out beautifully. That change of pace coming through here for ALG, busting out one of their set pieces to get them into the site here. And for GX, they've seen that exact execute now twice. The first time around, that Viper Molly was such a huge impact utility coming through. This time, it really caught them off guard. The fact that Muffyn was able to get into Garage with no info coming through for the defenders gave her a lot of room to work with.
Now, the next adjustment, and if yeah, you love to see that for Smurfette. Taking away Muffyn is a big scalp to claim as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were missing in the earlier start of this. Now with the operator in her hands, Smurfette feeling a lot more comfortable, looking for those forward duels. And Deja Vu, ALG have been in this position before. This time they've got extra utility in the back of XiMiLu to allow and help these players get into the site, but Mayuri, look at this setup. Fully not gonna allow to get past. Is she gonna stay on the site?
Waiting. So Util has been popped, but I mean, it got dealt with pretty nicely. So they're in on the site here. But look how close JinNy are. They could almost do a pre-take on this. They're trying to, but it was isolated. At one point, trade out. I don't know where Juliana was. I thought that was going to be spaced a little bit better, but no, ALG still have good presence on the site. No plant in play yet, though.
Here.
Jumping the gun a little bit, Smurfette had the operator in heaven and couldn't jump out while the rest of her team flooded through. Now
30
3v3.
seconds left.
That drill should allow the spike to go down.
Sarah could be
Spike
vulnerable,
planted.
but fortunately for her, ALG didn't re-clear this, but now finding out the first player towards hell. Trade out XiMiLu is looking so good in this.
my
Yusin
God.
and Unison, and now Smurfette in trouble. 9 bullets in a bit of a dream. Can't progress yet until that dart is dealt with, but takes down one, can't get the follow-up. ALG. All right, there's some stubbornness to this team.
Stubbornness for sure, and that's 2 4 versus 5s that ALG have been able to convert somehow, some way. This round with their duelists going down first, they're still able to get in, and you know, if we go back in time, I wish Mayuri actually just stayed on the site while her mollies were delaying a bit. That smoke came on right in time, and all of her teammates were nearby. That disconnect with the flood was unfortunate for GX. And it was after the round that Smurfette found the opening kill as well. And that's one of the tough things, that gamble that you take when you put the op in, is your duelist can't be the space maker that you want on those retakes. So quickly having that presence of mind to switch weapons. Hey, give me your rifle. Quickly switch with your breach, or you can even switch with your Viper.
Yeah.
So that you can get that flood going. That's something that GX are going to want to talk about for the rest of this half.
Yeah, I want to see. You know, this is when you'd love to be a fly on the wall and hear what's being talked about here. But timeout coming in for JinNy. Maybe feeling that those last 2 rounds, I didn't like what they were seeing, don't like what they're feeling here. This has been a turn of events, though. ALG, this feels like a night and day performance. Maybe feeling that fire lit underneath them after the first series they had on stage. Maybe just getting a couple things in line. Maybe just whatever adjustments happened here is working for them. JinNy are looking behind the wheel now. In the last 2 rounds, they're the ones who now have to adjust back.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, ALG, that first map, their first match, it keeps replaying back in my mind that ISO on the server, having to adjust to that sound cue is something that they have talked about consistently over the last 24 hours. So coming into the Haven, once again, their second time picking this map in this tournament.
And I like what JinNy are trying to do, kind of propping up Smurfette, popping her down towards Sewer, taking space and then rotating away, right? There's safety in that position. She can stay there as long as she feels it's necessary. And it's also good information. No one's crossed, no one's pressuring, nothing's really happening. That should free up these rotations. So they've taken space pretty much on either side of the map, but ALG with a great approach right up the gut, straight through middle, and I like what Muffyn's doing. It's a little brave, but it's working out. Look at the space again. All of this, even claiming a kill towards CT off the back of Yusin. This could be going better for them. This is now problems. How is Smurfette meant to play retake with an operator in this sort of position, especially when Mayuri gets caught just lackadaisically walking through spawn? That was being watched the whole time. The 3 remaining players, I don't see the chances in this, but they're going to go for it. Still operator in play, hard to clear through this B side, and Yusin showing why. Already taken down her opposing number, but a 3v2, but look at XiMiLu, already got the ult here. Sat back deeper, should be the way the buck stops pretty much. Shouldn't get past that. Smurfette picks up a rifle, but again, the time is ticking. Camera towards the spike as well, and just to ensure safety, just to make sure nothing happens to this spike, Hunter's Fury comes out, and this one's wrapped up with a bow on it. ALG are running this game.
Completely controlling the pace. Beautiful calling once again here for ALG. And if I'm GX, I'm okay with that route, Lauren. These B retakes are pretty tough, but they actually were able to burn out XiMiLu's Hunter's Fury there at the end, even though that was almost a guaranteed round. So if you're GX, at least you're walking away with that small W. You still have 2 rounds left in the half, and you actually at least are able to hold on to Smurfette's operator coming into round 11. So we'll see if she actually is able to find an opening pick, but it looks like she's going towards that long C. So, but they have switched it up. Viper is now their A anchor.
And again, this mid attention from ALG. Muffyn, leg shown, careful now. Juliana got to be cautious too. Their time here. Patience being shown, maybe a tell or 2, but Muffyn just claimed Mayuri. That feels like that was out of nowhere. Look at where she died.
Off angle with the operator.
they haven't checked on anyone pushed down this deep. I mean, I feel like they're going to drift in, they do. So that's another big impact kill here. Going to make it very hard to take towards these sites without your Sova, without your Jet. You're running on fumes. This is very hard now. But we've seen the pauses from ALG that have got them some really big impact after.
Omen blind off the table. That communication should be coming through here for ALG, and now they're choosing to group. If they were able to take care of this alarm bot a little bit earlier, that definitely would have helped them out.
And look at the counter stun coming in, allowing Smurfette to clear through. She's getting played in this round just right. Gets to fall away, doesn't need to outstay him. Yuri can catch the cross, relay that over to her. All the information is there. This is very controlled. This will need an outplay and overdo almost. TP all the way to the A site. Now, Smurfette really locked in though, drilled in on that, not gonna let JinNy get that freedom to maybe catch those rotations. Yusin's, I mean, her troubles are only beginning. A 1v5. Full kit to play with though. Show me what you got, Yusin. Maybe you could do some damage here, keep the morale low, not gonna happen. 5 standing for JinNy, a much better round in their minds.
Yeah, and a good spread as well. I love the, as soon as Smurfette heard the information come across from her team that they were poking and sniffing towards that garage, you saw Smurfette take the line and inch forward, go a little bit deeper, and that sort of control allows the rest of your teammates to hold their ground, and so much information coming across for GX.
We have another timeout. Wait and see whose it is. Okay. So ALG wanted to check in here. Again, a very competitive half. And I'm quite surprised considering the first results these teams both had. It didn't look great, I'm going to be honest. You know, they had some real shaky starts, especially for ALG. Didn't quite find their footing, but now this looks much better. Some of those set pieces, those site takes look gorgeous. We've just seen, you know, Smurfette now having a round. We're starting to see this one heat up a bit.
Yeah, and I feel for the coach on the ALG side. You know, this sort of timeout is always the toughest to call when you only have 1 round left in the half, but you know that 1 round from a 6-6 half to a 7-5 half is a world of a difference. So ALG wanting to bust out their best strategy that they have available.
That's tricky.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go back into that set opening like pistol. You know, we saw them do it, I believe it was in the 8th round, once again on a C split, but they've been putting so much pressure towards that garage B that they can do a really easy fake coming into this round with a little bit of misdirection. And A site that round when Yusin went with the Omen ult, it was completely empty. So I think with a little bit slight misdirection, but their end goal will always be A site, would be a fantastic round for ALG.
That would be nice because they've been conditioned to expect that maybe as a lean-to of a set piece if they're struggling with something. But let's see what they opt for here. They do have to deal with Smurfette's ult if that does come into play, which I imagine it will do at some point. TP as well for the Omen, not so much of a bother, but as it stands, at least they can get a decent purchase beside themselves, but no big impactful ult to start off with. And it looks like just a creep towards A, and look who's waiting, Smurfette in the sewers. It's all about timing now. Smoke is still there. And she's been sharp. Last couple of rounds, she's had impact. A missed shot.
Careful here.
Now suddenly look at the rotation from JinNy. You just saw it on the X-ray there. 3, 4 players all heading through. Smurfette pops the ult for big info. Spots enough, right? This should be enough to be very telling. Do they continue to commit? There's still about a minute here. They've got site control. Spike is there. And Laiyin just found Miori.
On the lurk at front B as well, and for GX, they've wasted so much utility already. Cypher ult gonna give a lot of information for ALG.
They gotta go, Smurfette leading the charge here. Takes away Muffyn, can't get the follow-up, the spacing nice. ALG now looking to swing. Julia already clearing house, down to just 1. And Laiyin was noticed earlier, but she's on the site already. Great first fight, needs another. Can she find it? Can she clutch? Oh, so close! And JinNy at the final moment here. Can be able to close up this score at 6 apiece.
Ice in her veins. I thought for sure that JinNy had the line there to be able to win that one out, but Jolina cleaning up house and able to actually get the 6th on the board for the side of GX there.
This has been a really explosive first half. Wonderful to see both sides picking up a little bit here. And hopefully that bleeds through into the second at this 6-6 scoreline. And luckily we have a bit of a treat for you guys at home. So while we wait for the second half, we're going to be joined by Yinzu with one of our favorite co-streamers on site. So don't go anywhere, you want to hear this.
We have a lot of amazing personalities here in Berlin, so I thought we'd do a little bit of a check-in, with Leviathan here from Giant X. Now, first of all, I saw you in Korea, I've seen you in Madrid, you're traveling all over the world for VCT, but I know this is your first ever time being on site for GameChangers Champ. So tell me how you're feeling, are you enjoying the event, and how does this compare to some of the other events you've been to before?
Well, it's really different to stay on a GameChangers Champions. It's my first time, as you said, and it's really nice because I love see the girls playing, and my team is here, so it's like a dream.
Speaking of the girls playing, I know she's not playing right now, but you have played with Toki before. So how nice is it to see her on this big stage as well?
Well, it's the first Spanish player in GameChangers staying in a championships. So I'm really glad for her, and I hope she wins, and I hope the best for her.
She will be playing, I think, tomorrow. Now, back to Giant X. I know you're a Killjoy main, you know your stuff. So what's it like to watch Miori? What do you think about her Killjoy on that map?
Well, Miori is the best Killjoy I ever seen, so I hope she winning. I would like to be a little bit of her Killjoy.
Wow, all right, you're so real for that. You're so real for that. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great co-stream. Make sure you check her out as well. And let's just hop back into the map and see if GX can bring it home.
We have here, can they bring it home, or does ALG have that fire beneath them? As said, on that attacking side, they looked quite clear-cut, structured. They had a goal in mind and they executed it very well. Great impact on the lurks. Now with the sides flipped, are you expected to see them be proactive potentially and kind of continue that approach, or do you think we're going to see a more just standard start out here to the first map of Haven?
That's the key question, Lauren. ALG can't afford to play standard going into the second half. With the Viper on the other side, you see the Viper line coming through here in mid. It cuts off the entire line of the A main. So generally, the Sovas, they have so much information with just their util, but depending on how much pressure Sarah puts, Muffyn has got to get active on this defense half.
Yeah, there's layers to this. Like an onion. You ever watch Shrek? Movie?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
So quiet. Perfect. For now, though, it's a very patient start, very tense from both sides. You can see that directly Giant X are opting for that B side. They've made good progress here, but whether they can commit towards it or not, it looks like they are. They've cleared backside. Smoke up towards that C connector. Spike is there.
Yeah, and look at the defenders from ALG. All three members still towards A, not knowing exactly how many bodies from GX is towards this front B.
I was wondering if they were going to go for a straight-on flood, and they are, and it's not going to plan. That's actually getting a little bit dangerous, but Laiyin goes down. I thought she might be able to get a little bit more impact on that one. They were down so low. They were left so broken and bruised, but they still stand. Sarah and Smurfette still alive. Keep the numbers so favorable for Giant X. This gets so hard now for ALG in the last two players.
Smurfette's doing such a good job not allowing any sort of equalizers to come through, just staying tucked and playing the long con.
Yeah, the timing on that is going to be, it feels like the be-all and end-all, doesn't it? The second that, going to hear the drop down towards Garage there. So that's a known target, so we're already going to path towards this one, Smurfette. Yeah, that's beautifully handled. Muffyn, this is really tough. Yes, you could argue that Smurfette's a little bit lower, Sarah is down a little bit low, but Muffyn's gonna give it a damn good go, but this is tough. This is tough to witness. And yeah, just being toyed with. And there it is. Giant X gonna pick up the pistol here. And how did we feel about that flood through that C connector? Because it worked out for them. It felt a little risky there, because, I mean, 1 or 2 shots hitting the other way around, that could have gone towards ALG's favor.
Yeah, it definitely could have, but for ALG, they've got to talk a little bit faster about keeping Muffyn a lot more mobile. I think going sniffing deeper into the A main should help out. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got to be able to have the fighters and pick the right site at the right time. Of course, that's easier said than done when the Viper is on the other side.
All right. Danger player is going to be Muffyn. The rest are on classics. So if she can get the ball rolling, it would be a dream come true for ALG. For Giant X, you want to see 5 standing. The most they're willing to lose here will be 2. Miori and maybe Sarah, considering they're the only one with ghosts. but I do see Guardians, and XiMiLu does at least get Smurfette. So there, they're going to tighten this one up. Yusin are going to make this a little bit more costly. They should be able to collect the rifle that got dropped on long, but these three can't afford to go down here.
Yeah, they've got to keep this nice and clean. Even choose who's going to get the spike. Looks like it's going to go on the back of Ness. Get her one ult orb closer to that Rolling Thunder.
Okay, 2 smokes and a ghost. I mean, quite tricky. He's got to hit a shot. Yeah, not gonna be working out that time. JinNy's gonna lose what they were willing to lose, which is Miori and I guess Smurfette in that situation, but they keep the 3 bulk weapons they came in with, Guardian 2 Bulldog. So this bonus now has a little bit more bite to it. On the other side, this is going to be a big round for them. I feel like they've got to answer back.
They have to, because having a Viper in your back pocket for GX, that makes this bonus that much more dangerous. On the pistol, we saw Sarah take that duel down towards the short A and found herself looking at 3 defenders. So you can see all the members of GX very much grouped. They want to go behind this Viper wall and have some sort of pounce factor. 1-3-1 setup here for ALG. It's just a solo Sova.
Yeah, and look how much space they're getting off this utility. Instantly going to be forcing away XiMiLu. There's not much more she can do about that. Has to try and hold the ground as best she can with what feels like near on a blindfold. That's a little bit of a look. Presence being shown here, but the spike's unmoving. It's still taking its time. I think they're just trying to draw out that very limited utility, that precious utility, and I like that they're just kind of taking the tour of the map, showing presence elsewhere.
Look at that dart that the defender Sova just threw here towards long A. That's an indicator that they are lacking info. No idea if the attackers are very close or very far, and what a shot from Miori.
Yeah, prying that side open, but Yusin is still here. The paranoia can go through. She is nearsighted herself, but again, you're looking at the support system. A little bit of a fumble on that, but Yusin still standing tall. Maybe she can follow up. She can! Immaculate impact already. Finally finding more. She is just a turret on the site herself. An ace would need 1 more, but she's only got 8 HP. Sarah has to walk into the lion's den, and Yusin is there, keeping hope alive for ALG.
Impressive movements coming out here from Yusin, and I love that 3rd kill as well. That nice little sidestep to just dodge those bullets. Some matrix action coming out here from Yusin, and that's beautiful because, you know, they kind of failed their B retake earlier on, so this time around they had their weaponry, they had their defenders in the right place, and a great response coming through here for ALG. And I like the look from GX. They're playing a mental warfare, mind games across the board, not letting ALG know where they want to end.
Ooh, Pacey, Muffyn. Oh, the paranoia was heaven sent. Muffyn set up for success and keeps going. I feel like you could fall away from this, but maybe they feel they've got a shot at some more, and actually it's Laiyin to swing around on this. This pace change was out of nowhere.
ALG getting all the reads, did not want to give GX this orb for Ness, and XiMiLu winning out that 1v1. If Sarah got that pick, you see there, Sova is all soloed towards this A.
Yeah.
Would have gotten the spike down, so huge anchor moves coming out here. And for GX, they gotta reset. The orb though, I think is still up. Yeah, it's still up. So Ness can choose to maybe grab it or just wait to plant. They'll have the Rolling Thunder for the post here. But look at the way ALG are playing. They are so far back, all the way in spawn.
You talk about like hot and cold, right?
Yeah.
Start around, they are down C-long, and they push even further, right? That is high tempo, super volatile, love it. It was well crafted, good paranoia to it, everything there. And now, you're in the freezing cold, right? They're literally sat in spawn, holding the furthest back extremities, taking no risks. Miori trying to be the one to be proactive. She has to find impact here. You don't win a 2v4 by, you know, playing it perfectly. You need almost a mistake, and that's rotten luck here. Already going to be noted. Oh, going to come in. Hold on, they're fully committing on this one. Miori head first for Halos, and it might just pay off. 2 is all she could get. A valiant attempt, but they stand tall. ALG, more of that, please.
Wow, valiant effort for sure. A little ambitious, but man, I wonder if Miori didn't have that Cypher Cam stuck in her. Maybe she gets away with a 3rd, but good effort. And man, ALG, the calling right now on the defense, the fact that they did push out that long C as Ness was 1 off the orb, just being 1 step ahead of the attacker's game plan.
I love it.
Taking the fight to them.
I just love disruptive play like that. You throw that in once every X amount of rounds, then they have to burn utility a little more early. Then the map suddenly feels so less free to make these moves around. It just completely changes the dynamic of it. But you can see what it's done to the money as well for Giant X. They were coming in with Outlaws in that previous round. Now they're back in with Guardians, Bulldogs, Light Shields. They got the TP, sure, but beyond that, 1 away from the lockdown. Smurfette, 2 off from her, so nothing to bank on here. Paranoia primed in a little trap set, it looks like, but that Paranoia I don't think got it, but the stun certainly did. And they're just getting more aggressive. They're just layering in this hurt here. Smurfette wants vengeance. She gets it. Good trade, and now the brawl begins. Muffyn now out for blood, doesn't get what she wants, and Smurfette kicks it up a gear herself. XiMiLu now the last one alive and a mile away. This is going to be a very long road back in, but that was almost felt a needless brawl at times.
Needless, that's the key word for sure. Definitely forced coming out here for ALG, and maybe in their scrims it went a lot better than what we just witnessed, but for sure Laiyin had every opportunity to walk away. I love their opening, right? They
The start was great.
away.
I'd love to see them to back away there.
Yes.
That's all you needed, but maybe that last round gave them that almost overconfidence.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just keep pushing it, keep pushing it. Yeah, a little unfortunate. I'd love to see that tempered a second earlier.
Would have been beautiful to see, but hey, if they got those kills, we'd be sat here talking
Singing
about
their praises?
how amazing it was. So definitely couldn't see the motion, or the vision rather,
Sure.
of why they would do that, but
Just a hindsight Harry over here. What can I say? You know, it goes
Muffyn,
good.
the timing in which Muffyn found herself on that flank, that fast pinch, the vision was definitely there, but Smurfette handling it so well, double kill, and now with the Yoru ult on the table, she's going to be able to find out exactly what site is free, and maybe they can even use Mayuri's ult in the post instead, so.
A couple of ults now, kicking in. Outlaw for Muffyn. How many have light shields? Only 2, I think? Yeah, that's it. So, a little bit trickier, but have the knives. And yeah, switching. You can see the hesitation on it. Like, Guardian, maybe Outlaw, not sure. Looking like a C hit coming out for Giant X, though. There's the ult coming straight through from Smurfette, right up through the B site. Bringing out the player. Anything to couple with this? What's the plan now, Smurfette? There's the stun, there is the jump out. Oh, and there's the punish. Laiyin making up for that last round now. Standing her ground, keeping control of that C site. Nice try, not this round, and gets a follow-up on Mayuri. Doubling down on finding impact here.
The fault line a little bit missing the mark there. Unfortunate for Smurfette. She did have a flash in her back pocket, but maybe getting a little bit overzealous. And both defenders are still on A site for ALG. If GX are able to really draw down the clock and buy Sarah some time to cook, maybe there's a chance, but that should help things. Now maybe Sarah, she's got to make a choice. Now she has to decide whether she wants to regroup with her team or keep up her lurk.
Yeah, it's so tricky, isn't it? It feels like, you know, Sophie's choice. There is no good way. And backpedaling, XiMiLu already checked from Sewer, but Jelena is holding this one together, but takes a little bit of time to do so, but that's fine. You take that. Plant's going to come in. Still has ult, still has Paranoia, has another smoke. You got Nest by your side, but you are up against 3 with full util near on, excluding that owl drone. Dart is there. Everything is there. So proactive is the name of the game, trying to play ahead of it and get swept aside. The retake is on the money. Muffyn to round it out. We're tied up all even.
Wow, ALG handling this round so well, and that was off the back of Smurfette insta-Yoru ulting to go front B there, and I thought that was enough information. The fact that she saw that Omen and Cypher immediately towards that C site, finding those agents, you can really visualize with that process of elimination exactly what the defense setup is. But again, it came down to the utility. It was off the mark.
Yeah, just the miss on the stun. It could have been such a different round there. Totally different. No timeouts here. I love Coach Cam. Never get rid of Coach Cam. Yeah. Best thing. Now the money starting to look really nice, at least for ALG. Starting to build up a little bit. They've got some ults to depend on the other side. They'll rough around the edges. A little bit of a half buy here, keeping the money trying within touching distance and straight up towards B. Leaving Sarah try and posture over towards A, but the plant's going to be coming in. You're hearing the Hunter's Fury as well. That's a lot of targets and a really lovely angle to play through. ALG dropping the bodies. But this is a tough round. This was a half buy, but they get an upgrade on at least one. Julina now has the upgrade to the rifle. A pivot through towards that C site. Paranoid goes in, finds no target, so that's fine. But a body spotted. Yusin, light work on Ness, just swats her away. And now down to 2. Plant is in, but what are you meant to do to defend it? Now you already have Muffyn hightailing it through. Yusin's right there. This is an aggressive side, ALG. And Sarah, okay, good start. 2 more, at least on site, and 1 to the left on towards long. No tag and no frag for now. Yeah, not gonna happen. ALG taking the lead.
What a round. And the whole time, ALG always had that Sova on that quick flank as well. So this retake had every layer that they needed to be able to convert. But the defenses from ALG, they're not doing anything that special. So far, it's been pretty standard. And I talked about in the beginning of the round, they have to be proactive. They have to go find out the information. So moving forward into round 21, I'd like to see GX slow things down, really take advantage of having the Viper in this composition, and go back to what they did in the beginning of this half, which was throw out those misdirections and let Sarah work.
Yeah, puts a little bit more pressure, I guess, on Sarah to then step up a touch. But I mean, it's Sarah. She should be fine. I wouldn't be surprised if she actually comes alive a little bit more if she allows that, timing to be played into.
She doesn't even need a kill, though.
True. Just presence alone.
Yeah, she doesn't even need a kill. She just needs to give the information to her team and, hey, is there a defender on A site or not? And let your IGL or your mid-rounder make the choice of where you want to end. But so far, it's been pretty straightforward for ALG, and ALG are just better.
Which is wild, right?
Right.
Like, our predictions are going to be in the bin today.
They are in.
We could have some upsets, and I'm happy for it, because I think looking at that first series for both of these sides, it was a little bit more, I guess, within touching distance for JynX to lose how they did. It was a really hard game for ALG. They looked just kind of blown out of the water by Falcon, so I think a lot of us went, not sure how they're going to fare against someone like JynX, who is a little bit more of a household name. But coming into today, the vast majority of the gun rounds, even in this second half, have been ALGs. So they absolutely see why JynX have slowed things down here, pumped the brakes. They've got a couple of big ults to bring into effect that lockdown in pocket for Miori, and it looks like a very simplistic approach towards that A site for now. It's going to be a brawl, you know it is. Muffyn on a knife's edge here, leans a little closer forward, and already JynX steamrolling through. JinNy is still here. They've got to know someone's still around. The flash, it's not going to affect the player she wanted, but she's still alive. How's she gotten away with it? How is she alive? JinNy, get out of here, JinNy! She shouldn't have been alive, and she's still firing. Brings this back to maybe a realm of possibility for Laiyin, but this is difficult, this is tough. Tries to isolate more, can't happen. JynX answer back in.
And this round was pretty much decided 5 seconds after those barriers went down, Lauren. It was fast-paced, and I think if Muffyn actually didn't drop that jet smoke, maybe they would have been able to see those players stunned off of the utility on JinNy, but fortunately for GX, they chose correct. Off the rip, completely dominating this A main.
Let's go.
And they want to go again. Starting the round again towards this A main. I love the fact that they switched it up. Now they're sending Sarah towards that C, and the bodies, the fighters, are trying to control this A main. The money is broken for ALG here.
Trying to be frugal in their purchase. The Muffyn is so close by. Are they even aware of this? Yusin's going to find Smurfette. Muffyn unleashes Fury, but only finds one. But this is still damage done and a player advantage for ALG very early into the round. They can slip back here, sit a little deeper. Now JynX have to try and approach this without Smurfette. No Miori either. It'll be tricky for them now to approach either of these sites that they fancy going towards.
JinNy still got that breach ultimate in her back pocket.
Shadows traveling.
1 full minute left to go. Just saw the shoulder.
Oh, the ult on top as well. Hold on, but you can see the spikes on the way out here. Laiyin just going to lean on forward. Sarah with a quick clear. Now suddenly LG in trouble. Ness going to take down Yusin. This is going from bad to worse as JinNy forced away and JynX regaining composure by every second that passes.
Some miscomms coming through, unfortunately, for ALG. Now Ness, man advantage and weaponry.
Darts there. This has got to be the go-up. And away we go. First in towards Logs. You can see the players here. JynX aren't letting this one go now. Digging their heels in. Reticent to let this go, and they won't. Ness, good work there, but there was composure in the chaos for a moment for ALG, then it went too far. Then it fell into kind of pandemonium almost.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what the comm was or why JinNy thought that she had to send it towards B, that breach ult, but man, it would have been so great if it did go and hit the mark towards that garage C site. So unfortunate for ALG, they had that round that could have completely swung it. But fortunately for them, they get to catch their breath here. Nice. They also get to take a second look at their money, and that was his eco round. That was an eco round. They made it competitive. Going into this one now, they should be able to get that operator on the back of their jet. And 2 rounds ago, we saw an incredible push coming out from ALG to completely change the tide. So we'll see if that's what they're cooking up in this pause, but unfortunate for ALG there. Man, for JinNy.
Yeah. I also got to say, both Omens absolutely going nuts. Yeah, 22 for Yusin, and then for Jelena, 23. Ah, damn. It's kind of wild.
You love Omen ults on Haven as well.
Yeah.
I mean, so many cheeky, fast plays that you can do, especially because the defenders love to fight forward. So sending that Omen ult randomly in Hell, randomly in Spawn, and just do a quick A split. So fun to do.
Yeah, 2 rounds back-to-back now for JinX, getting themselves in the lead here at 11-10. ALG, though, timeout is now. They still have a purchase in hand here, so Operator looking like it's coming out to play.
That goes there.
Looks like Muffyn wants to hold the fort down at C. We'll see if she decides to push it later on. They've sent their Sentinel towards this A side. This tells me that XiMiLu wants to be mobile. She wants to leave this A site in the mid round, and they just want to leave Saiyan on this site on her devices. But as I say that, it's a short A push.
I mean, maybe with the lockdown, she can get a quick flank potentially if she fancies it, but you can see the setup here. They're very aware of this. I don't know if they're biting on this B take just yet. Real patience, and JinX now starting to close in. Quick TP for Jelena. Gonna have to abort the mission though, has to get out of dodge. So a nice little pause here to offset the timing. Smoke's gonna go back in, and Jelena going back in for that second attempt at the plant. So nothing this time should stop it. I'm looking at the tempo of this retake, however, as Jelena already gonna evacuate the site and get back to safety.
This
very
duel
passive
between
setup.
Cypher and Viper is gonna be everything for ALG. Saiyan being so patient.
This dart has to be valuable, though. There has to be value to this. Now the pressure on the backlines. Nice timing on this. Gonna draw the attention away, but Smurfette unfazed by it. Neither is Sarah. JinX still holding down the site. Only Muffyn to answer back down middle. Jelena still standing. That, if it was double, could have been something, but JinNy now denied. There is no chance on this. The one-way in play, the Viper utility, the post plants are dirty to play against. You can't get away from that.
You can't. They almost did that double.
It was a try.
That was so close. But what a round for GX, and it was a decent response for ALG. That delay in getting that spike down, I thought that would fluster GX a little bit, but they handle it so well. Composed, Jolena just hopping right back in. A beautiful post. Love the KJ mollies coming out here from Moyori as well, keeping the defenders at bay and not allowing any sort of flood to come through. And ALG, they've swapped it up again, sending Laiyin away from A. That's an early smoke. Gonna cut off that jump spot, the long line. Ooh. Oh, that is punishing. Laiyin tries to get a jump spot off anyway, but...
that could be the start of the end, really, at this point. That C site now. Red carpet rolled out. They're on the way in. Plants there, and we've already talked about the post plants. And you've got to now add in Ness's ult to this as well. It's really uphill.
Welcome to my
ALG.
world.
Oh, and the Viper's pit. I didn't even see that one too. Oh
Feels
man.
like a checkmate here.
Does, doesn't it? But show us something miraculous. Show us something to make us believe. The Bucky is still in play. Quick little turnaround, and Sarah denies the first one forward. Ult in play as well, and Sarah gets hungry for more. Does control the spray in the end, and Muffyn falls. This might be a Real end of things as JinNy and Yusin. That's 4 more players to try and get past such an uphill struggle. The one-way's back in. Welcome back to the last round you're in. And Miori wants this one sealed, signed and delivered. Giant X pull it back in from the brink at a 13-10 victory.
What a read coming through in this last round. And I feel for ALG, they did the best they could, but this Viper coming through, and as soon as that half changed and GX were on the attack, the mind games that they brought out early on, you saw that the defenders, they never felt too comfortable being mobile. Even in that last round, Muffyn was all the way in ace sight until the last second.
A couple things they have to tighten up if they want a chance here, but 13-10 is respectable, but Ascent is next. Don't go anywhere.
And that was a nail-biting way to start this elimination match. I'm now joined by the coach of GX, Aska. Now, Aska, I know you guys haven't had the easiest couple of days. There's been a lot of challenges, but how much confidence do you think that map win is going to give your players to get back on track?
I think it was really important to get our first map. Like, personally, I think this map was still a little bit, it was very shaky in general. But I think the last couple rounds, we actually got the comms that we need and the pre-plans and everything. And I think now we are starting to feel more comfortable in the server.
Oh, I can't wait to see it, especially with Ascent coming up as well. Best of luck.
Thank you.
A little bit shaky, but a win is a win nonetheless, right? And we see Giant X taking that first map. I wonder though, because this was a lot closer than I expected, especially from ALG, right? Bringing it very, very close to Giant X. So I wonder if this is more about what ALG also did, like, right in this time around, and, the little minor mistakes that Giant X had.
Yeah, I think, I got a little bit of that vibe that they were still nervous, that we're still testing the waters and not very sure after what happened against MIVR. And on the side of ALG, we saw a lot of progression in the sense that they were not that scared anymore, especially later in the game when they were on the defense, just going on the aggression, not letting them set themselves to get the spike down and having to deal with the Viper later on.
Yeah, and even then, you look at the attack side, Laiyin was able to find a lot of space. The mid lurks were successful, catching off Miori, facing, well, maybe less successful when they hadn't pulled the rotations and Jolina was still in position because she was having a lights out game, which is very noteworthy. Last time we saw them, I think on Haven, with obviously the proper roster, they played in the Spotlight offseason, but when you look at G2, the matchup they had in Turkey, Jolina, from what I remember, there was like one noteworthy round, and this time there was one round maybe where she wasn't present.
Yeah, and this was a good match, or a good map rather, for the Omen players, right? You had Jolina definitely putting up the numbers, but you also had some from Yusin, right? And this brings us to our Hyper X reflex moment of the map, and this one goes to Yusin in this play.
Yeah, exactly. I believe this was an ace, right? And it was a nail biter from beginning to end, but it's especially this rounds and this individual brilliance that they were comfortable in showing today, right? Like the individual straight, like the way she's isolating the kills, the way that she's moving, but she's also keeping the awareness once she gets the kill. Yeah, she gets out of bullets, but she has to check her back. Turns out immediately to see if somebody else is pushing her and gets the ace.
Yeah, again, keeping a cool head in these sort of games where we do come in expecting that GX will be heavier hitters. Someone like Smurfette, well, when you're already complaining about the level, or at least taking note of the level being higher than expected, someone like Smurfette will usually put you in the grave, but they were able to go blow for blow with them here. Again, the caveat is this is not a strong map for GX. The next two maps are decent and not good ones for ALG because they haven't played them.
Yeah, it's a big question mark, right? Absolutely no data at all, which can be a double-edged sword, I feel. But, you did have Jolina bringing up, I feel like carrying the energy of the team, especially in those final rounds, right? And that's why I feel like, it's definitely a player to watch out for when push comes to shove, because she's been a rock for Giant X so far. Let's have a look at her performances here at GCC so far.
Do not forget, this is her debut internationally, like globally. And I feel like especially the other day and today, look at how those numbers keep going up. Even in the maps that they were losing, she was putting up the numbers. She was feeling good about herself, and we could always tell when she was present in the map. And she was one of the main reasons that they were able to close this, because there was a lot of high-risk plays in which Jolina had to be the refrag, get a couple of kills in the round. And honestly, Giant X is so lucky to have her right now.
Yeah, and a player on fire, thinking about where we'll go, guaranteed at this point for GX, unless they win 2-0, we're going to Pearl. That's somewhere that Jolina on Astra was on fire last time that we saw them up against MIBR. So I'm not expecting it to get any easier for ALG, as they now need to take the next 2 maps.
Definitely not. And I'm very curious to see what they have to say about this. So let's hear what Cudi had to say ahead of map 2.
Luna to do some translations. Now, map 1 was so close. It felt like maybe you could have actually won that map. So what do you think the difference was, and how do you prepare to change things for map 2?
那其实第一张图打得很焦灼，很接近嘛。其实我们是有机会能够拿下的。你觉得没有拿下的原因是什么呢？以及第二张图会做出怎样的转变？
我觉得我们还是状态的调整吧。我们也缺了一点运气。 在图1没有拿到胜利，但我想下张图我们会调整回来的，在一进空岛，对。
I think it's about our adjustment and a lack of lucky, but I think we're gonna do our adjustment well on next map.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Thank you very much and good luck.
A combination of strategy and luck is what needs to come through here for ALG, as you heard from the coach himself. And I feel like, you know, ALG, they aren't exactly taking this as an entire loss, right? You can tell that the energy is still up for this team, and I feel like they know, you know, what went right for them and what they have to do in order to close this one. It's just that, again, Mitch brought it up as well. There's no data here on Ascent for ALG. So it's a big question mark, but is that advantageous for Giant? That is my big question.
I have a number here. Is it advantageous for Giant? This one is for you, Mitch. This lower third, I got just for you. Because one thing that we know in EMEA is that Ness is going to be playing with that Odin. I know that you're a big fan, but 37% of the rounds that she plays on the defense, she's playing with this gun. Bear in mind, think about the rounds where you do not have money. That is already a big chunk of them. This is a map where Giant X has to feel very, very comfortable. I love the fact that Smurfette was taking those duels, even if she was going down, because on this defense, she's going to have to do the same.
Well, it looks like a mirror matchup here for these two teams. No big surprises, and I'm not surprised myself, because like they want to play safe for this. Again, this is an elimination match, right?
Definitely the lesser evil, right?
Yeah, look, I think this is the right call all around. If ALG come in with a Phoenix or something like that, I think we're really rolling dice that we have no business playing with. For GX, a map that they're quite strong on, one that they don't have any tape to go over for their opponents, but it is Ascent, and we know that this is going to be a tough battle for ALG. Got to watch out for Smurfette. That Jet is going to be a difficulty to deal with.
And especially with them starting on the defense, right? I'm looking at XiMiLu. I think that she was having a good performance on the first one, and I need a better showing of JinNy as well.
Well, let's find out if this one can make it to a map number 3 and send it back to your casters. Here's Panpot.
Okay, Panpot, yeah, I think we're running with the branding now. But map 2, let's kind of, you know, really close in on this, because I guess historically, Giant X have found comfort here. This has been a good map for them. Happy to lean back into it. We're walking into the dark with ALG. Very little, historically, at least able to be seen. So I guess we have to learn as we go along here. What are you looking out for to maybe give tells of comfort or, you know, concepts here that they're going to be coming out with?
Well, that's a tough one. It's Ascent, so they better look somewhat comfortable on Ascent coming into the World Championship. So ALG, I think, you know, having this cookie cutter comp is something that most teams feel very comfortable with. Starting on the defense, they've got to get this, rather they're starting on the attack. It would help them out a lot on this momentum, of course, to start off with this pistol round win. See Muffyn trying to get this timing towards this cat. See if this Killjoy setup is there, and it is there. Mayori completely ready.
And for Giant X, they should have a good idea, because they already used a lot of their util to try and clear through towards B main. That flash, the shock dart to follow. So you already see the early rotation coming in from Sarah. Right. Muffyn, what are we going to do with this? Jolina just trying to live her life in the smoke and makes her presence known at the perfect time. Picking up where she left off after map 1. A little uncomfortable at the end. That's fine, ALG, that's fine. Everything's fine. It's all good. It's a 2v2. We don't have to, we can cut that bit out. Plants now in. What do we have? Muffyn on one side, Yusin there. Ness and Smurfette on the other. Smurfette still has a little bit of smoke to work with. That is tasty. Doing some serious damage. Muffyn couldn't quite snap to the shot, leaving just Yusin alive and cleared in the end. Diffuses there.
What a beast move coming through the duo in Ness and Smurfette. Love the dash to crosshair displace there, but it's all about Jolina. You know, the Des talked about on map 1, just carrying her squad through. I thought that blind combo was going to be everything, but the fact that Jolina got blinded herself and held on to that blind, didn't give away her location, resulted in 2 beautiful frags for herself there. So the setup, though, is what I appreciated coming out from the defense. All the while, ALG, they did handle it well. I mean, they were able to get past that KJ setup at short A, but unable to convert that 2v2.
So,
you know, surprised to see a Marshall instead of Outlaw coming out for Smurfette, but she's just preparing for that bonus.
Yeah. As it stands, one way is in place, so going to be a little bit tougher to disrespect that without investing a great deal behind it. So Jolina again gets to control this space. Life is here, so could do rather well. Let's see if Jolina gets affected by any of this. Here it comes. And she will, so she'll be forced back to this. No more smokes for now, so that gets them at least past that first challenge.
Something that I'm going to be keeping an eye out throughout this whole tournament, Lauren, is what teams are keeping in mind what Jets or what Neons love to force the Outlaw in the second round. Because you can see 2 Sheriffs on the board here for ALG. They're going to be on half armor going into that bonus, so it's just a little tally that I'm keeping up on the side. Quick tip versus SR. Don't buy Deagle from the second, please.
Please. Hopefully someone learns that lesson. For now, it's Muffyn not be able to get in towards this one, but Yusin, good shot here. Jolina, again, still finding so much impact. There is a chance in this. Look at Laiyin, still with that Sheriff, and Sarah stops all the fun from happening. That could have been something, but still, nicely handled, still a little bit of damage done. Yeah, you're going to be walking away happy enough with that. Golf clap.
I love that eco. Hey, if I'm the person who was at Laiyin that did all the damage on Sarah, I did damage, guys.
Nice.
Great W round. Huge. Great eco.
W round. Every time you say it, like a little part of me dies.
Why?
I don't know. It changes how I see you. It looks like we're going to be going back towards that B main control. They started this one off with the pistol. Again, there's normally the shock dart coming out from Ness as well. Flash in from Sarah. Let's see how this looks. There are players on the other side here. Very early work towards the turret, so that's going to keep a little bit of an issue for ALG. But for now, they're playing patiently. It shouldn't be a huge problem.
I think for GX, they are just not going to rotate. You can see a Bucky in the back of Mayuri here. She wants to stand her ground and not move a muscle the entire round. And look at where ALG are regrouping to. KO is quickly buy and spawn Sarah with those flashes in her back pocket.
Last time they had the knife to kind of clear through. They used a bit of util to kind of force players away. I guess it was because of the one way, but still, this then gets you rocked and ready. You can see just waiting. Mayuri, that is going to be devastating. And the smoke now goes in, but she doesn't have to back away far. Just a little bit of a new angle play around this. The outer and has to come in. Does spot her. Okay, that's should be Mayuri dead, but it's Jolina keeping them alive.
Sarah's here now. She's got the molly and flashes.
Oh, that's huge. This is the bonus.
Yeah, refreshing the second smoke really puts ALG in another pickle. The fact that XiMiLu just had to burn that dart as well doesn't give them anything. They've got to wait out this smoke.
They've got so little to play with it. You know, I guess the paranoia, the flash, the knife, but Mayuri is so unwilling to move away, and you can see why. She's still cooking. She's still going. And now a 3v2, but the util they have to break through, and the time, 10 seconds. They have to go or they have to save. That's it. That's the options. They want to draw a line in the sand here. They don't want any of this Yusin just trying to hold her breath to not get spotted. But Sarah on the drive-by, upgrades galore as well. 3 Vandals walking away from that, and a bonus round converted. The Bucky strikes again.
And JinNy said, get me out of here. I want nothing to do with this. Good luck, Yusin.
See ya.
You're probably a goner, but I'm taking my Vandal and I'm out. But luckily, she will be able to bring that into this 4th round. I'd love to see her drop that over towards Muffyn. JinNy's got the flashes in her back pocket. Try to get an entry for yourselves with that hero rifle if you're on ALG side. And for GX, what a bonus. It all came back down to Mayuri with that Bucky in her back pocket.
Again, this is going to just condition ALG that they have to invest so much to clear these close corners. There is no free rounds in this. It's a very, very costly effect. Smurfette, does she explore deeper? No, being very careful on her angles here. She's getting curious, and that dash is dissipating.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that was really close.
It's fine. We're fine.
Everything's fine.
Nice little reset.
Get rid of the alarm bot above a minute. That's fine. Again, everything fine. Very defaulty. We love defaults.
Hey, it's a good spread right now. ALG are feeling good. They better be communicating with each other to put some sort of M3 smoke down. There it is from Muffyn.
Oh, and they don't even know about the player in the corner. Ness is there as well. It's a 3-play stack. A real focus. I like that they dealt with the alarm bot. I'd love to them just back away, you know, going through the kind of protocol list of just, you know, the Ascent basics, but shot from XiMiLu. But any more? No. Okay. So now down to Yusin. And yeah, you can see JlinNy already prepared and locked in. So aware on that timing. Clean stuff from GX. They'll be happy with this.
Yeah, beautiful defense coming out so far for GX. And there was a moment where I got nervous.
Yeah.
And that generally happens when the attackers get that M1 position and they're able to really stay grouped. That 3-2-1 pounce between B main and M1 is something that attackers really take advantage of. But GX handled it well. And Smurfette, with that operator on her back, she doesn't want to mess around with the aggressive forward A mains. She wants to hide in this attack attic spot rather and dodge those KO flashes. Oh, I know this play.
Like this. Yeah, you seen this one before?
Beautiful flash start combo to try to get that spam for Nest. The desk was talking about it.
I really hope the ALG start warming into this map because I'm worried they're going to go missing. They have their faces on milk cartons. Did they? They must have done.
They saw Smurfette off the... And that's the key thing. Smurfette had to stay tucked in there, dodging and listening for that drone, listening for the KO flash, then peek out. But the jig is up. ALG are handling it well. KJ versus KJ towards this B main. Depending on what kind of info, or rather map control,
but you can see just having this player pushed up towards B main, even though there is a challenge on this, it's keeping them happy enough, keeping 3 towards A. Yeah, they're peeling JlinNy back, but still, a lot of faith in this. Now they've got to respond, right? Now they have to respond. It's a 3-2 split straight through towards B. The paranoia comes in, but it's Miori to strike. JlinNy is here. Smokes in play as well. Could pop a quick smoke down. Paranoia unaffected. JlinNy just going to hold the line. Oh, the catwalk! And absolutely walks through all 3 of them. GX in control.
That smoke that JlinNy put down in the site right before she shoots her gun gives her the time. Just that slight misdirect allows her to get a triple kill. What a sequence of events coming out here for GX. And once again, it was ALG with that M1 control. That pinch was so beautiful. Miori had no chance. But JlinNy with a triple.
Nice, guys! Nice, JlinNy.
What a response.
Wow. This has got to be panic stations a little bit, right? If you're ALG, as I said, I was a little worried it's going to be faces on milk cartons time going missing. After a great map 1, really competitive, so impressive. Those executes were fantastic, the aggression. But we were worried because they don't have historical reps on this map. But everyone should be able to play Ascent, but it's that depth, that comfortable element to it. And right now, they're not looking like the same sort of team, right? It looked great on map 1. Map 2, I'm worried they're looking a little absent.
They are, and you know, that's where those reps really come through to play. This little choke point here at that lane, you've got to be able to pause. Yeah, it is so hard to pause when you're in that position. You're getting spammed, you might be getting pinged, you might be half blind. So it's natural instinct to push forward and try to find cover for yourself, but it's power in numbers. You've got to create a trade opportunity for your teammate behind you. So for JlinNy, it was an incredible round, but for ALG's side of things, you cannot allow a multi-kill like that to happen from the solo anchor.
Time to turn up. 6th round here. They are on Sheriffs. They've got a couple of ults, though. If they try and make a stand here, if they get maybe a good start, they've always been deadly. There's been a couple of scares, but GX have been keeping that upper hand, but still. Focus up. Let's see how this looks.
Get out of my way.
Have a different start here, but patience from ALG.
Slower start the knife, giving ALG a little bit of information to start. ALG really want to find the weak side of the map to be able to pounce with Muffyn's knives here. They didn't like what they saw at A. You can see the adjustments coming through here. For this Omen blind would be very helpful. It looks like Yusin does want to regroup back towards. They've got to send everything to send Muffyn up for success here. Find some sort of opening.
This just feels like a blender. Ness is here. The timing on this dart is massive.
Dark Duty team?
Here it is. Someone's got to do it or it's going to be death. And that is devastating. Straight head first in. Muffyn desperate to try and find impact. And it is just a massacre on the other side. XiMiLu and Yusin trying to hold on, but you can see it. They're just trying to get this round done. They're just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. But Yusin last alive in a 1v3.
30 seconds left.
Brutality. But Smurfette 4 HP is enough. That was gutting.
Gutting for sure. And the fact that Smurfette on that 4 HP has the boldness to move forward like that, risk it, and still wipe her out. That's the HP communications coming through for GX, and that's a huge indicator that they are feeling good right now. All the communications coming through, all the information, and just doubling down on being dominant on this B defense.
I mean, the Des brought it up, right? The amount of times we're going to be seeing this Odin, it's something you're going to have to be very cognizant of. It has to be in your mind, and that was a very quick learning lesson as to why. It's punishing. Smurfette going to show off at least where the operator is for now. No surprises at this point. Knife, I think, again, going to at least find one here. Same player, the Omen again. And look, Jelena is just taking this fight. Does have support here. Wow. Loses out. Yusin going to be traded up by Sarah's nade, but still, they are so willing to brawl here.
What an insane trade as well. Smoke for smokes. This is going to hurt ALG more than it's going to hurt GX. Sarah unable to escape, just barely.
Good punish here. I like this. ALG punishing some of this over-aggression almost from JinNy. And look, if you're feeling confident, I don't blame you for trying it. It can really be demoralizing to play against teams who are just so in your face. But for now, this is a quick reminder. ALG going to try and claw back around here. 2v4 would be devastating as a loss. It would be great for ALG.
Both members tagged by that knife. Oh, but Mayori was able to sneak across.
They know about Muffyn now as well, so got to be a bit careful here. As Mayori is still alive, it's a 1v2, and suddenly things aren't looking all that rosy. Doesn't know about the player behind. Oh my god, she... Absolutely she does! Are you serious right now? XiMiLu is going to keep a safe pair of hands on this, but bloody hell, that was too close.
Too close. But the damage is going to mean so much going through for the rest of this half as well for ALG. Look at the ultimates on the board here as well. JinNy finally coming on board with that KO ult. This should help going into this next round for that fast change of pace round. And look at that flank coming through.
Nice!
Barely
you take them
across.
You take them when you get them. You got to try and take any silver lining here. But again, if JinNy then just kind of tighten things back up, go back to what was working, not overdoing too much, they can kind of be a bit more comfortable. This is the big teller. This is the big one. You got ults to play with for ALG. You got a buy in hand. You got to do something great with this.
Huge swing round. Sarah still got one flash in her back pocket. Beautiful reaction.
Yeah, nice. Good info. Jelena as well. Spotting out a big idea of what's coming, basically. But now Ness doesn't want out to say her welcome either. So very, very cautious now, kind of pausing for thought.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that smoke coming out here for GX, but fortunately for them, ALG did not take advantage of them cutting off their own line. Have to pull back. The pressure was too much, but here it is. The pace match is great for ALG here.
Jolene just got a paranoia in hand, waiting for the Sarah. As soon as contact's there, now here comes the swing. It is stunning. Just perfect work between each other. So prudent in approach. They paused for just that KO ult before, and then the re-hit. They're all here as well. Smurfette has to deal with it, but still Jelena controlling over towards Catwalk, still trying to do the damage, but JinNy succeeding. It's a 3v2. Spike can go down. No one to contest this just yet. Ness could invest that ult, doesn't do so. XiMiLu does have hers, and I like this, what JinNy's up to. It's a bit audacious, it's a bit risky, but you need to make these choices, try and make things happen. The lockdown coming in as well. This now puts it on a time limit. It's all here, it's all now. That's one, and a second would be God-given, at least denies. The lockdown goes back in for second. Smurfette is there. Now a 1v2. XiMiLu is sat on the site, waiting this one out, dropping down on one, sees them, but can't deal with it. Smurfette breaking hearts.
The movement, the B-hop coming through there for Smurfette, completely ruining the spray down, unfortunately. And man, you gotta feel for JinNy there in such a power position to completely turn the tides of the round. Unfortunately, that lockdown, that power of choice, couldn't decide whether do I kill the person or do I go for the lockdown. Decides to help her teammate out and secure the lockdown kill, but unfortunate. And it was such a good start for ALG too. I love that they paused at that cat to allow XiMiLu to get more forward. I wish though that as soon as JinNy popped that ult, that drone was already in the air so they could identify the setup and actually space into the site. JinNy's ult went off, no one got control, no one got space. So GX able to hold down the fort, and this has been an ongoing thing at A main for GX's side. The confidence, the re-swings, they're completely dominating the opening portion of this A main.
That one way is just so oppressive. It's so hard to handle. See, the Sarah's aware they're going to probably try and swing through this. Still going to hold her ground, though. The paranoia's going to come out. Does affect as many as she wanted, but Jalena's got her back. But until then, Sarah now starting to pop off. It is confidence personified. And ALG are down in the doldrums here.
Wow, they even added a Sova ult to add insult to injury on top of that one. A little overkill, but hey, message received. A domination coming out for the side of GX, but hopefully for GX, they don't miss that ult coming to this next round. You can see Laiyin has that KJ ult online here as well. And with Laiyin lingering around outside this B main, she's gonna try to mind game versus this Odin that's been controlling it and maybe see if there's some sort of timing to place this down, but it's a spread. ALG, they want to slow this round down.
Uh-oh, run. Run away. Run away really, really quickly. They're so confident on these fights in the extremities. Oh, that's a shot! Laiyin, that was clean as hell. Smurfette gets punished. And all the meanwhile, this is still going towards A. Jalena, though, going to take the counter space, almost pushing back towards A main. Now going to force their hand. Muffyn, though, trying to get close towards as well. Isolate the fights, and she does so. Jalena still holding her ground a little bit deeper. She's causing 3 players to go hunt, but she turns the flash. Muffyn is on the chase, though. Now a 3v2. Miori is going to spot a player, doesn't get what she wants, dips away. They're staying as this 3-play pack, trying to divide and conquer, I guess.
That will allow them, though, to find the gap, get in towards this A site, get the spike down. Not a lot of utility on the back of Ness or Miori. They've got to depend on their weaponry. Good flash.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
What the?
Miori, no. This could be devastating. Miori now in a power position, keeping all eyes turned towards her. XiMiLu has to pick her target. Which fight can she try and handle first? But she knows time is ticking. Ness is there.
That hurts. That hurts if you're ALG. That was the round that they could have turned things around. I love the pack mentality. The way that Muffyn updrafts towards that A main creates the quick high-low trade to be able to dominate that one. But man, unfortunate that flashbang doesn't result in a kill for Muffyn. Just the smallest of margins so far, but GX, by the scoreline, they're dominating. But these rounds have come down to the wire, and the heroics of individuals from Jolena to Smurfette to Ness, all these players stepping up huge, and ALG, they feel like they don't have an answer. They can't get B main control. They can't win this A main fight.
It's a brutal game, this, isn't it?
Too suppressed.
Sarah unaffected. So again, it feels like rinse and repeat, doesn't it? Do they have something else to work with here? Well, in the meantime, Aldron just got used towards that B side, so you're already seeing no contact on that call. I'm going to head on over towards A. Smurfette, eyes on understanding there's going to be a whole lot of light shields.
Not ready.
There is indeed. A couple of ults to play with, though.
You can see ALG are feeling less confident about their game plan. All 5 members really stuck together here. That KJ ultimate's not going to get them too much. They've got to be able to properly space beat. You can see the pings coming out on the map, showing where the gaps are.
There's a lot of space, and that outlaw looks scary. And yeah, you can see the spam's even scarier. Ness doesn't have to move.
Oh, no!
The Hunter's Fury come out, but Yusin's the one to get it. XiMiLu's trying desperately to find these players, but still they hold the line. The Dark going to go in, does get destroyed, so no value off of that one. Maybe a little bit of chip damage here, but the plant's going to come in. 3 players desperate to to get another round on the board, give themselves a buffer, give themselves a chance. With a flash in, and slowly they come out, start filtering up from heaven. Sarah absolutely tearing apart the site hold as Mihori just dives in. This is looking over.
Power in numbers, Lauren. Every single member of the defenders there were completely blind. Everyone's screen was completely white, but when you have that many stuck together, you just press M1 and pray, and it worked out for GX. They're able to completely wipe out ALG there. Unfortunate. I'd like to see in this last round, Lauren, ALG do a spread, right? Yeah. We saw Laiyin actually able to punish Smurfette 3 rounds ago towards this B main. Spread out, slowly dissect, get a little bit of map control before you actually commit to a site.
Come into the unknown.
And it does look like they've got that
Right
spread
here.
here. Laiyin outside B main.
Get out of my way.
Do they get the punish this time? Can they find what they're after? The battle of B main about to break out again. Looking towards middle here. Got to be careful. See that hesitation. This map doesn't feel fair for them right now. A lot of fear in every step they're taking. Gonna remove the turret. Follow up, and there's still a player on that deeper angle, so she should know that no one's progressed further, but they're gonna keep their players doubled up here. Is that them just a little mini high-low? Yeah. That's rotten luck if they go around that corner.
That was great information for Jolina. That's gonna leave Smurfette to just maintain M1, not move a muscle. Oh boy, this spray down.
Yeah, this is really hard. They back away. Nice timing on the ult here. The Paranoia not going to find what they wanted, but Muffyn can maybe then gap close. No, Miori, again, still so confident to stand out in the open. Finally punished on the nade, but Ness still here. There's still a smoke in play, so if anyone tries to come through, it is just going to be another massacre. Getting stalled out, but I like this from Yusin. Takes away Sarah, but the rest of the team try and join up, and now it's all problems. Yusin desperate to be the hero that they need, but 2 HP is so little. The shock dart could have done it itself, but it is the Giant X with such a punishing half here. 11-1. I don't know what you're meant to do.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't the forward crossfires, it was the secondary crossfires in the back lines. It was GX being one step ahead this entire first half.
Yeah, and speaking of one, ALG only have 1 round. Come back after the break, as hopefully they can get some more. The gravitas of this situation just keeps compounding. 11-1. This is, it is one-sided to say the least. It feels like it was ride or die on map 1, right, Christine?
It was. And unfortunately, we've seen kind of the energy being drawn out of ALG round by round early in that first half. And that's the tough thing, you know, stage experience, that's where that starts to come in, and you really believe, hey, it doesn't matter what the scoreline is, we got this. And that sort of hope really means a lot. So for ALG, you know, it was a tough first half, but they had the pieces moving. It was just GX being a little bit ahead of the trigger, but a lot of opportunities in that first half.
Yeah, and I think you can see the difference when you kind of consider how map 1 felt with, you know, those great looks, set pieces, really good damage and good overall looks from ALG obviously wasn't enough. We got very close at 13-10, but here, as you say, it's that little bit extra, that 10, 20, 30% even, that's just not quite there. And 11-1, we lock in again. JinNy this time on the attack, and look, if it's round by round, it's got to start with the pistol. If they don't get it, they're going home. So away we go. Beautifully done. Laiyin, though, just going to skip ahead. Completely ignore the player behind, but Smurfette is very much making an impression and ensuring the cross is now in.
Such a good entry, Smurfette, completely ruining that crossfire. But this flood, they've got to be able to handle it. Sarah still has a molly and a flash in her back pocket.
Get that spacing right, get the timing right. Paranoia could be huge, the flash could be huge. Muffyn could be waiting for that jump off point. Paranoia gets sent. Smurfette takes a fight towards stairs and it's looking like it's going from bad to worse. JinNy, you gotta do something here. Try and save ALG. This would be the start, or it might just be the end of things. Sarah and Smurfette, yeah, this one might have just been that nail in the coffin. 12-1. ALG with their last chance.
Dominant and decisive. That was GX pulling out one of their set pieces, probably a round that they've drilled hundreds of times this year. Smurfette beautifully gets into the back lines, and that's a tough job as a Jet. You are always half blind. It's all about that target selection. So Ness getting that tag, making things easy for their Jet.
We were just getting a meow, 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 meow. I'm gonna have to listen to that one back.
Must be a fan of Yinsu.
I also like meowing like that, okay? That's good. It's good for vibes. Vibes right now, probably not good for ALG. Probably a little bit of a rough one, but time to buy up what you can, right? Get all the pennies together. Try and get something.
Working with scraps out here, Lauren.
Yep. Hey, look, Buckies have done wild things. Stingers.
In M3 on Ascent. Far back in spawn. We'll see what Muffyn can do with that one. I'd like to see JinNy and Muffyn sticking together, some sort of paw flash to dash forward, but 3 members, they've got to take care of this drone. Don't get tagged.
Someone. Oh, damn. Just absolutely whipping the shot on the drone. But they are going to kind of draw in the additional player. Again, Muffyn is just off again, so not overly fighting on this. Maybe feeling this isn't the final destination.
A lot of decisions to be made. You can see Muffyn going back and forth, not knowing exactly what site she wants to commit to here. It's all in GX's control, completely controlling the pace here.
Just trying to clear through CAD. This is a position for a Bucky. Yeah. That's much better. Okay, Muffyn, time to shine. One and done, but you'll take it at this point. Yusin, no man's land. Caught crossing back through, leaving JinNy pretty isolated here. Big info, but she's got to do some serious damage. And the shot not coming in. This is looking like it's all but done. Down to 2 players. XiMiLu, the last one alive to make that final stand. As JinNy correct the ship after map 1 looked really ropey, really close. Looks like this might be time for a statement. XiMiLu, what can you do with this one? A 1v4 post plant, and there is a firing squad ready and waiting. JinNy in the end with a clean map 2 at 13-1.
And if you're JinNy, this is exactly what you want to showcase, especially after that first day, how close that series was. This is a dominant statement piece for Giants coming through on the second day, letting everyone know, hey, that was a little shaky, but we're here, we're back, and the experience just showing through. GX, there was a couple moments in that early in the first half where maybe it could have got dicey, but they were in full control.
They absolutely were. They stayed in control there, and you saw that experience kind of coming into map 2. Okay, yeah, map 1 was close, no worries. Map 2's ours. There's our comfort pick coming in of Ascent, and it looked really good in their hands. But I do want to highlight how competitive map 1 was. If you just tuned in for map 2, I forgive you for not thinking it was as competitive as it was. Map 1, the team on your screen, ALG, put up a fantastic fight. The difference of 1 or 2 rounds totally changed the outcome. They should be proud of map 1, map 2. Hey, get that map veto getting a little more flush. That would have been fantastic. But the winners of JinNy, I mean, map 1, they fought through all those issues, those fantastic rounds. And then map 2, I mean, they looked untouchable.
They did, and it's always nice to see that sort of progression from both sides of the mix, right? We saw those adjustments coming through, that ISO kind of throwing everyone in for a loop, the curveballs, but that adjustment, I love it. The Viper was not something that you can just be ready for at all times on Haven, so I like the fact that ALG did make it competitive.
Yeah. This is a team to watch, and I'm sure JinNy now want to keep going in this fashion. Ascent has sent a message. I think teams will now be a little bit more worried about keeping that in the map pool against them. And maybe, just maybe, map after map, game after game, they can keep getting stronger. As said, gotta say for me, Jelena having a fantastic performance here, Christine. She looked exceptionally good on map 1. Map 2, still safe pair of hands. I mean, everyone from JinNy definitely stepped up.
Yeah, and it's good to see that Smurfette warmed up into her role as well. Forward as hell on that duelist, and you know, she's played all of them so far. The Raze, the Neon, the Jet, the ISO. So she's warming up into it.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get. I think even the team aren't sure. They're like, we still here? We're still here. We're still chilling. We just needed extra time with you guys. You know, that's on you guys. You finished so quickly. I mean, it's got to feel good. After that first game they had as well, a rough one, right? If you think back to kind of how that must have felt going through the motions in that first series and being tipped as one of the higher end teams, it couldn't have been a comfortable situation with high expectations on you, having a little bit of a, I don't want to say upset because, you know, upsets do happen, but again, it's one of those where, for them, this is course correction, it feels like.
Yeah, and that triple kill that we just saw. This highlight reel is going to be a lot of Jelena clips. You know, you already touched on it, Lauren, but from that pistol round to that 3-kill towards that B site, that completely changed any sort of momentum that ALG looked like they may or may not have cooked up.
All right, let's send it down to Yinzu, down on the stage. They are standing by with Smurfette for the Verizon post-match interview.
A crazy dominant finish that was from the side of JinNy. I'm now joined by their star duelist, Smurfette. First of all, Smurfette, congratulations. Welcome back, by the way, to Game Changers Champs. How does this stage compare to the last time you were here?
I think last time's stage was better, I'm not gonna lie. This time is a bit like simple, I didn't like it, but it's okay.
And what are the vibes like, I guess, because it's a different team. You have different teammates this time around, and how different or maybe similar is that for you?
I mean, I think it's the same. I still have Ness with me, so that's why I think it's still the same.
Oh, is that Ness? I think I just heard her screaming from over there. Now, the first game we saw you guys on this stage it was kind of like a weird off day, you know, from the way where we were sitting. Was that the same for you? Did you feel like that was more of a unusual way of you guys playing on stage?
Oh, it was definitely like off day for us, and we didn't get used to the stage, and we came to Germany really late and we couldn't practice enough, which is not an excuse, I swear.
Okay, so it was a warm-up, right? You needed a little bit of time to warm up into it. Now you have warmed up into it. What did you make of the performance today?
Well, I'm happy about our Ascent game. Haven was like, ... We don't talk about Haven.
Your Ascent is always good, though. You know, we have full faith in you whenever you play Ascent. And one thing I do want to highlight, last time you were on the Game Changers Champ stage, dare I say it, you know, the Jet, it was a bit of a Jet over and over, a one-tricking almost. And this time around, you're playing absolutely everything.
Yeah, I grew up eventually.
You enjoying it?
I am enjoying it.
And is the Jet still, you know, your favorite? You got other things you prefer to play?
Oh, definitely. Jet is still my favorite.
After all this time?
Yeah.
Okay, what about the other duelists that you haven't played? You want to dip into that?
I'm not an arena player, so I don't know. And I tried ISO, and it was just kind of weird. So
you didn't enjoy the ISO?
Not really.
Oh, why?
I don't know, because I played after the nerf, maybe that's why. You need buff. I mean, don't buff, never mind. Oh, you can buff Neon.
We can buff Neon? Smurf. I feel like a lot of people watching this just groaned at that. Now, your next match, you're going to be playing against a team you've never played against before on GCC. They looked pretty good as well, you know. They've warmed up into the game too. So what do you make of Crew? Do you know much about them?
I barely watched their game, but I think they're a really good team. I watched their only like G2 game. I mean, they're a good team, but if it's our day, I think it's going to be a good match.
And last question before I let you go. Miori was talking about how the reason you're in the lower bracket is because you want to beat every team, which I think is fair. You come all the way here, you want to play against everybody, but just tell us how difficult it is to be in the lower bracket. You've been there before, you managed to make final, you know, a couple of times, but is it still hard, you think, to be in this position?
I mean, we are so used to playing on the lower brackets, so it just doesn't feel different at all, to be honest. It just feels like it's our first game, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, we are so used to losing, so yeah.
So it's like second nature, doesn't faze you, you're not pressured.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you very much for joining me, Smurf, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
One more time, you guys, Smurfette.
Oh, I absolutely love her vibes. And especially since, she's keeping it humble still. She's like, oh yeah, it was good, but maybe not that good. Especially since, they know they're in this lower bracket run. And they know that they have a long, long journey ahead of them this week.
Yeah, but finally, Giant X gets their first win after a first date that was very complicated and a first map that was also very complicated, but they're on Ascent, probably the most dominant win that we've had in the tournament so far, in a map where they've always felt very comfortable.
Yeah, I think we saw this as a team with high standards for the stage, for the gameplay. It doesn't matter. They expect the best. And, well, there's certainly some things they can improve on in that first map. I think it's hard to find any notes for the second.
Yeah, but I feel like, one note that you might have, Mitch, is that maybe Ness didn't bring out the Odin enough.
Right? It can always be more, but I do feel like Ness did a pretty good job pulling out that big old gun. And we know this. We had the stat, Kukuka, you brought it up in the pre-map, about, 37%. There it is again. Oh, no, it's 67% this time. So she'd upped it. I think it was 37 the first time, right? So Odin was much more prevalent, and I think a big reason for that is they're often losing like 13-7, 13-8 on this map against G2 and Falcons. So they're losing rounds, which means money is harder to come by. But when they're winning, that Odin is out every round it can be.
Exactly. I mean, they got the pistol, they won the bonus. She brought a Vandal, and then she dropped it because she knew that we were watching, that we were expecting the Odin. Is such a reliable weapon for her that we can understand if she has the chance, why not just keep bringing it?
And what was interesting was there was even a setup inside B main where you had Ness crouched with the Odin and another player, I think it was Miori, behind her in a firing squad with the Vandal. I mean, that is suppressive fire on another level.
Oh my gosh, classic. And I'm glad that I was here to see that because you guys were hyping up this play. There will be a lot more.
There's going to be lots more.
I would love to be there for it, especially since I'm not convinced that we've actually seen the best of Giant X just yet. I feel like they're just ramping up. And as humble as Smurfette was in that interview, like they still have, more to offer for this.
Oh yeah, and that's also the kind of sentiment that they have to take out of today, right? You had that difficult first day. We knew and we heard it from Smurfette as well that they haven't had that much time to prep and get everything ready, but you don't have time. If you manage to win tomorrow and continue on that lower bracket run, you will get a couple of days to get some rest, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's an intense schedule, right? And that's why we also have to say, like, for all of the teams here, props to them for being here, right? Unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to FlyQuest Red and to ALG, but I do think that they did put their best foot forward during these matches.
I do think FlyQuest Red, looking at the upper bracket matchup, it's going to haunt them a little bit how close they were to taking it across the line against Ipto, but at the end of the day, they did put on a good performance, having to play that lower bracket match with a sub as well. I think Lace can be extremely proud of what she brought to that stage, fitting in very well. The breach that Sonder had before was very, very solid, and I think you didn't really notice that much of a difference here today in that.
I feel like it is not the last that we're going to see from them, right? I expect to see them next year, and that really, like, the result doesn't really tell the story. Yes, they go out 0-2. They did manage to get a couple of maps that they've been playing against All Pacific. They just couldn't take Pacific.
Yeah.
You would know about it.
I would definitely know about it. And for ALG, it's unfortunate we have to say goodbye to them, especially since, much like FlyQuest, they also had to play with some circumstances that weren't exactly up to the plans that they had for today.
But again, coming into the tournament with just 3 maps and playing against the caliber of teams that we have here, we have legacy already built up here. I think it's a great learning experience. They were saying it themselves that that's how they were taking it, and XiMiLu got to play as well. So I'm happy for them, and honestly, I again expect to see them this year.
And one other thing to add as well, the fact that the player that they lost was effectively, it's a brand new role, the translator. And when you lose that and then you have to play a map that you haven't played before, that you don't have the foundational understanding of how to react to certain things, those things have to be communicated. That's tough when you've lost your translator. So it's not a full excuse. We did see their split the other day and it wasn't exactly sublime. Maybe it would have been the same with or without 1 HP. The reality is, they had a lot of roadblocks here. And I think especially in map 1, at least they put their best foot forward.
Yeah, this is a team that's still very, very raw. And at this state, they were still able to be here. They were still able to go up against Giant X and so many other teams. So I would say very, very impressive. I hope that these players continue.
We have seen it in the past. We all lived through the days where China could not get a map of anyone.
It's happening here, is it?
We were there when it was slowly skyrocketing, and a couple of months ago we were giving them a Champions Trophy, so watch out.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, you know, it has happened in the past. It can happen again. But for now, let's take a look at our bracket, which now only has 8 teams left in the running. The competition is going to be even more intense because coming up tomorrow, we've got 2 more elimination games. I just love to see how the teams and the players change under all of this pressure when the safety net is just pulled out from under them.
Oh yeah, and it really was. In terms of today, I actually thinking back to the MasterCard fan poll we had earlier on, shout out once again to the 8.6% of people who had it right. Y'all knew Zeta were taking it here today, and well, I'm proud to be part of that group.
I have to say, I'm actually happy I am not working tomorrow because I see myself losing and winning in both of these scenarios because, yes, Falcons, I think they still have a lot to prove. We talked about the stories there. What we saw today from Zeta was on a different level. Like, it is one of those stories, right, that you take out of the tournament. This is one of the core memories. And then for the Giant X crew, I'm not even going to say it because you know what I'm thinking. I'm not going to racially profile myself.
Well, there you have it. You have matches to look out for tomorrow, and we're gonna see you all there. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow once again from here, from Berlin, from Game Changers Champions 2024. Bye! For FlyQuest, you have such experienced names ready to prove that they belong here. They cannot go home this early. And for Zeta, the pride of an entire region on their shoulders. All of the Japanese fans have their hopes on this roster. Who's it going to be?
Starbound to find the opener. Serena with the swing. 1 is good. 2 is even better. She's at 3 for the round. And Moku's going to be there in a 1 versus 1. Starbound able to clutch it. Starbound's easily able to find a ghost kill. Akko swings out here. Beautifully done, but it's going to take more. Moko's found 3 and still wants to get aggressive up on this one. It's got to be Moko! An ace for Zeta Division! There's the push out of Garage. Now they can wrap towards mid. Lace eventually deals with Moko, but man, she cannot be shifted. Finds herself in a 1 versus 5 with Tail. Insurmountable odds. FlyQuest bring Lace into the lineup, and they don't miss a beat. They wait for Serena, now deal with the rest of them. Neural theft at the corpse, and Suzu wraps on it to fight. Devastating! Zeta Division with yet another round on the trot. Dodo is chasing. See very quickly. Zeta back away in that area. Laxo elsewhere. Pick up on Moko over towards that Hall's side. Suzu finds 2, make it 3. Now has to try and clutch it out. Dodo, oh, that is an alley-oop if I've ever seen one.
It's at half as well, it's at half.
Give it a tickle, Lace comes out and still wins it.
They were forced to break the recon, make
the timing. Oh my goodness, the timing. Moko with 1 more. Japan has secured their first map in an international. And a Game Changers Championship. We're going all the way.
Can't really jump spot, you can't jiggle peek because you might go down, and there goes Thea.
Here's the flash. Paranoia also in the boathouse now. If there's a swing, it's a kill for Suzu. Into the breach they go. And Dodona is waiting for the operator to show, but Lace takes a swing. And from Speedway, Moko's there.
It's just so patient.
FlyQuest have weapons as well. They can really work with this. Moko TPs into her own smoke. Wins that out. How does she win that? A second as well. Oh my goodness, Moko. Makes it up. FlyQuest are broken. And there it is. For GCC 24. Japan have finally arrived.
Suzu has finally been able to win a series at a GCC.
Final match of the day, and another team will be going home. Will it be Giant X, or will the home crowd cheers carry them through? Or for the sole representatives from VCTC, and will the ambition of ALG pull through this time around?
No idea if the attackers are very close or very far, and What a shot from Mayuri.
Yeah, prying that side open, but Yusin is still here, still standing tall. Maybe she can follow up. She can! Immaculate impact already. Oh, finally finding more. An ace would need one more, but she's only got 8 HP. Sarah has to walk into the line instead, and Yusin is there, keeping hope alive for ALG. JinNy is still here. They've got to know someone's still around. The flash, it's not going to affect the player she wanted, but she's still alive. How's she gotten away with it? How is she alive? JinNy, get out of here, JinNy! She shouldn't have been alive, and she's still firing. Brings this back to maybe a realm of possibility for Laiyin, but this is difficult, this is tough. Tries to isolate more, can't happen. Giant X pull it back in from the brink at a 13-10 victory. Jelena is here, smokes in play as well. Could pop a quick smoke down. Paranoia unaffected. Jelena just gonna hold the line. Oh, the catwalk! And absolutely walks through all three of them. Giant X in control. The lockdown goes back in for second. Smurfette is there. Now a 1v2. XiMiLu is sat on the site waiting this one out, dropping down on one, sees them, but can't deal with it. Smurfette breaking hearts. Giant X in the end with a clean map 2 at 13-1.
And if you're Giant X, this is exactly what you want to showcase, especially after that first day, how close that series was. This is a dominant statement piece.
Angels descend, no mortal could prevent what's hellbound and heaven sent. Could they know? But who are they to think to stand down in our way and mix destruction and decay anyway? At the very least, we are not plagued with some disease where our conscious fights release. Are we now?